Ragin Review.
The Ragin Cajuns will be a source of pride for this university, for the alumni, fans, and donors as we achieve success in the classroom, in the competitive arena, and in the community.
It's about to get really fun.
We're looking for dudes that will stand up. Well, Coach, let me tell you today, I'm here and I'm ready to stand up. And I challenge you, Ragin Cajun Nation, to stand up with us. Stand up with us. Let's lock hand in hand and let's walk through the gates of Omaha.
Hey, I love y'all boys. Let's grind every day starting today. Let's do it. Y'all ready? Alert! Ready? Who's that team ready? Who's that team ready? That's up.
I got one thing to say right here. Cajuns win!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to Ragin Review. In the middle of a big week for you boys here on the Ragin Review team. What is happening? We got Natty Daddy with us, as well as Lane. Jerry and Josh will be here a little bit later. Boys, if I look exhausted, it's because I am. We've had a lot going on this week. We had the NIL deal, by the way. His family's in right now. Kaden Jensen, the new NIL, or should I say the Ragin Review ambassador. I see Shauna in the chat. I know Mitch is listening. The whole Jensen family tuning in. I think even from like Minnesota. We're going worldwide, boys. We're spreading that Cajun across the nation. So thanks to all the Jensens. We announced the best stop. Of course, Ragin Review now powered by the best stop Cajun market locations in Scott, in Carencro, in Baytown, ball in Katy, which is where I go all the time. My fat ass needs to stay home and avoid it, but I pass by it every day, so I got to give me some boudin every now and again. And I think there's one more location. Am I missing one? There's Carencro, Scott, Katy, Baytown, Toledo Bend. How can you forget Toledo Bend, ball? So we're really excited about that. And look, near and dear to my heart. I'm a boy from Scott, or as like we call ourselves some Scomptons. We some Scomptons. But I'm excited. I know Damon, we went to school together. Dana, I knew her growing up, and I think they call him Papa Cormier. Just a great family. Excited about that. Natty Daddy, tell us your thoughts. It's been a busy week and we got more to come, right?
No, we got a ton more to come. And it's almost to the point where, like, I know I'm the newest one to the podcast. I'm the rookie for this season, but man, it's just the workload that you guys bring to the table and the work that we get done on a daily basis. It's phenomenal. It's such a blessing to have been brought in with you guys, and be brought in with these great companies that they just want to do business with great people, and it's all reciprocal, So hats off to hats off to the best stop. Very proud to be, partners with them. Nothing but great things, on both sides of the table with them. And I know we're going to have a lot more to announce, with that. But we have even more sponsors, forthcoming. And, dude, it's been a crazy, crazy week for Ragin Review. And like Donald Trump says, nothing but winning, baby.
Huge. Lane, you've been doing some big work behind the scenes, including securing, of all people, the Rice Athletic Director, Tommy McClelland. How did you convince that guy to come and talk to us today, dude?
I honestly don't know. I had to send a couple emails, and then he finally got back to us, around 11:30, 12 o'clock today.
Yeah.
And we're like, we're in. But yeah, like Cole said, even in the last year that I've been a part of the podcast, it's a completely different vibe and amount of work that we put into it. We've gotten better and better, and we just keep growing and growing. And I'm looking forward to what we have going on this season, and it'll be a fun ride, I'm sure.
It's going to be exhausting for a few more days, boys. I mean, you could say, Lane, this is not the normal. So I'm telling you, Cole, hold on a little bit longer. My man Josh made it in, brother. We were just talking about how exhausted we are, how much work we're getting done, all the stuff we've accomplished, more stuff to come. I got to say, brother, I tip my hat to you because you really got this all rolling. There was a time period where we were kind of in between, like, what are we going to do with this? Are we going to do the bare minimum and get going? And you lit a fire up my butt. And we got going with this thing, dude. And this is where we are now. So I'm going to give you the pleasure of getting the shout outs to all the fine folks that are on the list I'm about to share. But man, it's pretty special. And I appreciate all the work you've done. So I'll turn it over to you, brother. How you feeling?
Well, I'm mad that I missed the brag session because I was going to brag on everybody else. I mean, yeah, I played my part, but everybody had a part to play in it. When you pull off something that we've done this week, when you pull off something like that, not a single person could do it, and probably we were understaffed at 5. First and foremost, before we get started on the sponsors, and they're fantastic, but the community over at Cajun Threads, I know we've said it on a few other episodes, but that is a group of awesome dudes over there. I mean, we've got an army of unpaid staff that built that website from the ground up. And yeah, it's great to have a place to call our own and to go and just be social. But the effort with which they have, it's hard to even describe how thankful I am, because I don't know what a CCS is, an HTML. I don't know what any of that stuff is. We have
Andy Thomas does. He's here. He's nerding out in the background right now, trying to figure some stuff out.
We've got a team of people that are dedicated, not necessarily just to what we're trying to do. It's what we're all trying to do, and it's the HUD model. It's getting everybody involved. We've been talking about wanting a place to call our own, and it feels like we're almost there, and that we've made that. And when I say we, I mean the 400 or 500 of us that have put in the time and effort. So thank you to Cajun Threads. It's been an awesome 2 weeks hanging out with all those folks over there, seeing some old timers post in that forum and getting to see them and their opinions back on in the forefront it's been great. You saw Phil there just post. For the first time ever, Ragin Review's been being shown at the Yard Goat at the bar. So shout out to Phil, shout out to Spencer who gave us our opportunity. You see me wearing the goat hat tonight. I'm sporting the swag. I couldn't be more thrilled about that opportunity. Hopefully we can pull some new UL fans in, some new Ragin Review fans in through that medium, and it's a cool situation. We've always said we need a bar, we need a sports bar to come on board. It looks like we've done that. So I had to say all that, and then I'm going to get into the sponsors. If you followed our content, you've seen us posting about all the new family members essentially that we've been raving about. We'll start off with Jason Patu and the Gulf Coast Bank family. I have several personal relationships with the folks over there, but whether it be tellers, salespeople, high-level executives, whatever the case is, Gulf Coast Bank people, you got to understand that community banks are still very important to our economy, especially in Lafayette, Louisiana, South Louisiana. Small banks create wealth. Small banks give out loans to small businesses. Small businesses impact the community in a much bigger way than the national banks do. Small banks help create businesses that employ 70% of the workforce. And that's pretty much across the nation. But in South Louisiana, I think we take that to a whole nother level. So I want to thank Jason for the opportunity. Jason is going to be the official presenting sponsor of the Tailgate show, which you see Planet Radio up there on the right of the screen. Planet Radio is going to be airing our Tailgate show 3 hours before kickoff, before every Cajuns football game. Gulf Coast Bank is also going to be the official sponsor of the post game, which we all know you guys love. The post game has been our bread and butter. We've had so much fun together over the years doing that. I will ask that, we watch the F-bombs this year because I don't want to get in trouble with the Patus. So everybody behave. Look, I'm not going corporate or anything. It's just, the kids are starting to watch. So let's watch out with that. But thanks to Gulf Coast Bank. They've been awesome to work with. Yes, please. You've heard me talk about Courtney and Danielle over the last couple of weeks. Courtney and Danielle have been instrumental in helping us secure a lot of these relationships that you see on the screen today. None more important than the Best Stop, who is now our presenting sponsor. I'll get more into to Best Stop because they deserve their own segment, but Courtney and Danielle helped us get that off the ground. They kind of showed us what we have with this platform, and ever since we met with them for the first time, things changed forever. So I'm giving them a shout out as much as I possibly can, and they're awesome people. Old Time Grocery, Ross Murphy. Not only did he and his dad own the house that I lived in when we were in school, so I've been knowing them for years. They jumped on board to help us secure the NIL deal that we announced with Caden Jensen over the last day or two. We'll hear from Kaden today, but Old Time jumped in, said, "Hey, we want to be a part of it. We're going to help feed this young man," and I couldn't be more proud to partner with a staple and an institution like Old Time Grocery. You guys know they have the best pull boys around, and I'm not just saying that because they pay us. They literally do. I've said that for years, even before they were helping us out. So thank you to Old Time. Thank you to Ross, and we're going to make sure that we represent them well. As you know, Dr. Brett Venable, he's been one of the OGs. We were talking about that today. One of the OGs. He was one of the first to donate and get behind us and believe in what we were trying to do. So I can't say any more than I haven't already said about Brett. We're going to have him on the show at some point, trying to get him to the tailgate. Like, I know we joke about breaking tables and things like that, but he really is a knowledgeable sports fan, and he played ball. So I'm looking forward to getting that relationship out in front of the public. You guys just don't even know how good of a guy that he is and the kind of business that he runs. I mean, he just does a super bang-up job. He's a professional in every sense of the word. Brett Venable, again, from almost day one of the very first sponsors. Also, Lafayette Roofing, Darren Domingue, Jeff, all those guys over there. Josh Richard, he actually sent us a fresh new logo today. They were one of the OGs. Still, as far as I'm concerned, the premier roofing company and contracting business in Lafayette. They do have an office out on the North Shore, I believe is where it is. You can get a hold of Darren and them anytime you need anything at all. Thank you so much to Lafayette Roofing for always believing in what we were doing. They constantly get involved in the shows. They constantly text us on the side and things that we can't repeat because they're fans. At the end of the day, that they love the Cajuns as much as we do. They believe in the vision. They believe in what we're trying to do, and they want to build a Cajun community of fans, Cajun fans, the same way that we do. Greg LeBlanc, Stride Safety Solutions. He stepped up I think it was yesterday, and sponsored Threads. You guys see the Threads logo up at the top right. So Threads is the forum that we've been talking about, started 2 weeks ago. I can't even tell you the growth because I haven't had 2 seconds to go and check numbers. But Greg said, you know what? I want to keep this going. You guys did a great job building it. How do I get involved? I told him what it costs to operate and run it. He said he stepped up and already paid this month's bill. I mean, he was that gung-ho to help the cause. So I want to give a shout out to Stride Safety Solutions and Greg LeBlanc. Good company. If you have any type of needs as far as safety compliance goes, please look out for Greg and give him a shout, give him a try. The Yard Goat, already talked about it. They're giving us our shot in the bar business. So I'll be interested to hear from Phil and Spencer and see if we got a little crowd gathered around the TV. Ben Berthelot, Eat Lafayette, presented by Lafayette Travel. Look, you guys need to be looking out. We got some content coming. We've been teasing it for a couple of months. Eat Lafayette, they're so involved in promoting the culture that we all love and know. They're presenting that, and they're spreading Cajun across the nation. You guys know it's our little catchphrase. They do it better than anybody. We're going to have some content across platforms tomorrow. Jerry was actually able to go to Taco Sisters, a local establishment that we all love. He did a little interview with one of the owners, got to eat. There's a cool story behind Taco Sisters that you're going to find out tomorrow. And we just very, very pleased and very proud to have them be the first Eat Lafayette segment of the football season, and a lot more to come, so stay tuned. And, of course, Chris Logan at Planet Radio, giving us our first shot on terrestrial radio. Couldn't be more excited. This is probably a year and a half in the making. Kicked around a little segment for a while. Nick was doing Ragin Cajun beat updates on the radio, and that went well. He seemed to enjoy that. Chris is a local guy from Church Point. I mean, you don't get much more local than Church Point. So Planet Radio is doing really well. I joked with him today. I was like, Cajuns football and Planet Radio, I feel like I'm 15 years old again, dreaming about being on the radio, and here I am, I'll be doing it all these years later. So it's a cool opportunity. If you can, tell your friends 3 hours before each kickoff so that we don't step on any toes, if you know what I mean. We're going to be on Planet Radio doing a tailgate show. It's gonna be a little bit different. It's not gonna be your traditional pregame type deal. We got a couple of segments that are gonna be a lot different than what you're gonna hear on other places. So those are all the brand new relationships. I'm gonna have a lot more to announce next week. I know it kind of gets long-winded, and I apologize. Please give me some grace. I gotta tell all you guys how special everything has been and how much we're growing. We do it for the brand. We do it for the community that we set out 7 years ago to create. We feel like we're in a really good place to be able to do that, trying to spread the wealth around. I promise you that this this growth is not for us. It's for everybody involved. Thank you to everybody involved. I can't say that enough. And with that, I will give it back over to Nick.
Thanks for tuning in to Ragin Review. We've been about 2 hours long tonight, and no, I'm kidding. Josh, that was great. It did get a little long-winded, but we got, like you said, we got to thank all the fine people who make it possible. So I had to give you a little hell there, man. I couldn't let you off the hook. You're passionate about it, and that's what I love about you. All right, ladies and gents. Well, we're going to get right into it because we've got a ton of stuff going on tonight, including a special guest that is coming on a little bit later. Y'all, I'm geeked up about it. I'm fanboying here. So we're going to talk about who that is once we get back from this interview. But as I mentioned, Lane was able to somehow secure an interview with the man, Tommy McClelland, of course, famous for the Louisiana Tech video. And you definitely want to watch at the very end. We have a little bit of a confrontation there about the name game he tries to play with us. We'll see how he handles it. But I'll go ahead and play our previously recorded interview with Tommy McClelland with now Rice University. All right, welcoming in Tommy McClelland, Vice President and Director of Athletics at Rice University. Tommy, first of all, man, it is a pleasure to have you on our show. Thank you so much for joining us. How are you doing today, man?
I'm doing well. Beautiful day here in Houston, and looking forward to making the trek over to Lafayette, Louisiana this weekend.
We look forward to it. And I was going to ask you, and maybe we save this till later, what you're going to eat when you're in Lafayette. But I think you're a pro there because I did not realize you're actually from the Acadiana area. You grew up in Eunice. I think you graduated. Did you graduate from Basile High?
Basile Bearcats.
What was your graduating class number? How many graduated with you?
Well, I get the privilege of telling people I graduated in the top 25% or the top 25 of my class. We had 33 in our class. We only had to be 8 people to be in the top 25. But
not bad. That's how you got those scholarships at Northwestern, right? So then you ended up at Northwestern, played a little ball there.
By the way, you have to say Northwestern State because
Northwestern
State. A place like Rice, they assume you went to Evanston, Illinois, and I was like, I did not get into Evanston, Illinois. I went to Northwestern State. So,
okay, so you're a demon.
I'm a demon. Forgum Demons, Natchitoches, Louisiana. Yeah, 2000, 2004. Was a football student athlete, also threw the javelin there as well.
How did you end up in athletics? Because I know your career path, and we'll talk about you being at Louisiana Tech. Your very interesting story that I absolutely loved about how you ended up at Vandy. But do want to talk about your career path. How did you end up in athletics after attending Northwestern State University?
Yeah. Well, so again, I knew early on, like probably in high school, that I wanted to elongate my time around athletics, and the lens in which you saw that in a Class A program, single A high school in Basile, was the high school coach. I mean, our coach drove the bus to the games, taped our ankles, and then called the plays. And so I assumed that I wanted to be a coach because that was the lens in which I got to see how you elongated your time with athletics. So then I went to Northwestern State and was on a track to get a PE degree and be a teacher coach. And literally, going down the hallway one day, and I see one of these old pull tabs in the education department about a sports management program, a master's degree. Man, this was really interesting. So I started asking questions, and it piqued my interest that, man, I think I want to be an athletic administrator. And at that time, I don't know if I would have said an athletic director, but I want to be in college athletics. And so I changed my major, and then I wind up getting a master's degree in sports administration at Northwestern as well. and had great mentors. Greg Burke, who's the athletic director for a long time, there's a great leader and a mentor, and really inspired me as a young athletic director. And so I think originally I thought I wanted to be a coach, and then I realized there's this whole back office or the front office, if you will, of athletics that really inspired me, and I wanted to be a part of it. So that's what changed my mind. I'm very grateful for Northwestern State, the opportunity they gave me to play sports, to get a degree, to meet my wife, most importantly, while I was on campus in Natchitoches. And so really, really grateful for my time at Northwestern State.
Shout out to the wife, by the way, because I know being involved in athletics takes you away from home a lot of the time. So we do want to shout her out as well, right?
Yeah, Jessica is my wife's name. She's from East Texas, and we've been on this journey together, and it is a team effort. Whether you're a coach's wife or an administrator's wife, and it's not only the distance or the travel, the time apart at times, but in a role like I am, which I'm sure we'll talk about now, where you have people that have opinions about you, and you have kids, and in a city like Houston, it's probably less likely. But when you live in Ruston, Louisiana, or Lake Charles, Louisiana, you're the athletic director at those schools. You might as well be the AD at Notre Dame if you're the AD in Ruston, Louisiana, because that is the only thing that matters. And your kids hear everything, and they may tell your son, your dad needs to do this or do that. So, very grateful for my wife and for the support that she's provided me over the years, and her focus on making sure that our boys are raised right while I'm trying to lead an athletic department.
Now, you spent some time with Ryan Ivey at McNeese. You eventually became the athletic director at Louisiana Tech. So we're going to just get this out of the way, man. Well, and this will be quick and painless. Man, what were you thinking, bro? What were you thinking? And I mean, I get it from a point of, I defend my school to no end. I've been with them for 20 somewhat years, and they're my school, and I will talk trash, and I'll always have that back. I feel like that's the same for you. I guess my question is that really what people in Ruston think about us? I mean, do they think that we're just a little old Lafayette down there? Is it a true rivalry, I guess is what I'm saying, making those comments?
Yeah. So first of all, listen, I've had a long career, very, very fortunate, undeserving in many ways to have the opportunities that I've had. And I work really hard to make sure that when I'm in public settings, I'm as professional as possible. When you become an athletic director at 25, which I had the opportunity to do at McNeese, by the way, Dr. Robert Hebert, Dr. Robert Hebert hired me, gave me a chance to do something. He saw something in a 25-year-old that probably I don't even know if I saw in myself at the time. And when you get in that position, you know that the thing that people are looking for is immaturity, and because that's the judgment. They expect a 25-year-old to act like a 25-year-old. So I spent a long time in my career ensuring that I was very professional in public settings. When you get interviewed as much as I do, at some point you're probably going to make a mistake, or maybe something you wish you would have said differently. And that certainly was one of those cases. I also maybe chalk it up to COVID. We were in a highly stressful time. At that time, I think we were getting ready, are we going to play football or not? And it's a lot going on. You're getting pulled. Again, just would have said that differently. I'm so grateful that Louisiana Tech is getting into the Sun Belt. Great. If Louisiana Lafayette does something really well, whether it's a win-loss record or they invest in something or build something or pay a coach a certain amount or whatever, that puts pressure on your rivals to do the same. And then they're going to do something that is going to put pressure on you to do the same. And so although, sometimes that's painful, it ultimately makes each other better. And so I think rivalries are good within their context. And so, yeah, if I could have it to do it over again, I would not say the words the way that I said those. Brian Maggart's a great human, a great person, and a great athletic director. And, he's doing tremendous jobs. When we go over to the game this Saturday, one of the things we're going to do is admire the beautiful building, the new stadium, and take notes. This is things that as we think about how do we improve Rice Stadium and ensure that we can have a fan experience like your fans are going to experience. This weekend, we will be taking notes. And so, we look forward to it. So again, I know I've probably been the butt of a lot of jokes, but hopefully, people will understand that, there are times where you say something and you regret. So.
I got to tell you, man, but speaking with Ryan Ivey, I mean, I wanted to hate the guy so bad when we spoke with him, and that's really hard to do. And the same thing here. It's all in good fun in the end, and nothing personal. And I don't know, it's going to be hard for us to post that video again.
Luckily, Louisiana Tech's got a great athletic director that makes good decisions. So
that's right.
They're in a better position now.
Go ahead, Jerry.
I do want to say something about that, because not necessarily about what you said, but I want to talk a little bit about the dynamics of it, because at the time when you were talking about Conference USA was at a very different place than it is today.
Well, they were better than us, if we're being honest. Like, they were ahead of us. Yeah.
So my question to you is being an athletic director and seeing sort of how the conference shift has evolved from 2020 until now, being in the position you are at Rice now, being in the American Conference. I mean, if you just take these last 5 years as an athletic director, has it made your job more challenging because of the way conferences have shifted and as fast as they have? Because let's be honest, after 2020, the second that first domino effect happened with Texas and Oklahoma, it was just nonstop from there. And I know Rice was affected. We were affected. Louisiana Tech was affected. So just kind of, if you don't mind, kind of expounding on that. And was that something you expected in your experience as an athletic director? And how has that changed your position as an athletic director, seeing how fast that has happened in 5 years?
Well, I think the one thing that we've come to expect is it change. I mean, the idea that everything is going to be where it currently is it's proven to not be true. And, again, I think that schools are always trying to do what is in their best interest, and their interest lines in different ways, whether it's, academic or geographical or, mission minded, whatever it is. And that's kind of the driving force behind these plate tectonics that are happening, and then they're shifting and moving. I think we all know that in 4 to 6 years from now, there's going to be major change. I mean, when the Big Ten and the SEC television networks are due to expire, there's going to be major change. And I think programs like Rice and Louisiana Lafayette and Louisiana Tech, those that are aspirational, right? I mean, you should always be aspirational. How can you put yourself in the best position for your fans, for your students, for your city, and be in the best position possible to have success? And and so there's going to be more change, right? And so for me as the athletic director at Rice, our efforts are around how do we continue to make sure that we put ourselves in the best position possible to have great exposure, to have great competition, and to be able to attract the top student athletes, because they do want to play that type of competition. I would say, it is constant, the change, and in an ever changing world.
Yeah, I agree. And before we move on, because we got to get into football, man, because I want to talk about the new hire that you recently made, the new coach, offensive philosophy. We're not going to get too deep into X's and O's, but I do want to bounce that off of you. But I think it's important to talk about your move before you came to Rice. You were at Vandy. Yep. And the story about how you ended up there is, I mean, it made me a Tommy fan. Now, we got to work on the Louisiana Lafayette thing. We can just shorten that to Louisiana. We'll talk about that later. But let's talk about going to Vandy. That was really special for you and your family. And I wanted to give you the opportunity to talk about that today, because I think that's just a really cool story.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very personal story. And so, I have two boys. Our oldest son, his name is Lawson, and our second son is Grayson. They're 15 months apart. And our oldest son, at the age of 2, was diagnosed with autism in Lake Charles. They were both born in Lake Charles. And, we lived in Ruston for 7 years. I would say Ruston is an incredible community, one in which our family considers to be home. I mean, we lived there, and our kids were raised there, and they still have friends, and a place that I don't know, quite frankly, if we would have really left or really would have been challenged. It would have been harder for us to leave. But about year 5 or so, we were really struggling with our son in an academic setting, and it wasn't because of lack of care. As I tell people, I think our son was headed towards homecoming king. But he was cared for. He people had a deep appreciation for him, and they still do. But there was a lot of, we don't know how to handle it. We don't know what to do. And, when you start to, I'm a person of faith, and you start to pray about a decision and figure out, hey, what do we've got to do here? regret is a hard thing. And, man, I didn't want to be able to look back and say, man, my pride for being an athletic director was more important than my responsibility as a father, first and foremost. And, I interviewed for some Power 5 opportunities from the chair at Louisiana Tech, and I am so grateful I did not get them because they were in similar towns like Ruston, Louisiana. And I'm not sure they would have benefited my son. They would have benefited me. I had a nice, shiny logo that everybody would have been grateful that I had. But I'm not sure it would have been the right thing. And so as we begin to pray about that, the most random thing happened in that Kix Brooks, who's a Louisiana Tech alum, is driving on I-20, and he calls me about his golf tournament that he has with Terry Bradshaw. And he says, hey, can I swing into your office and talk to you about it? Sure. And I knew that he was on the board of the Vanderbilt Children's Hospital. And so I asked him if he had some connections to the Kennedy Center for Autism Research. And he said, let me call the guy right now. And in my office, he called the head of the hospital, and a staff helped get me on the docket to go to Vanderbilt. My wife and I drove to Vanderbilt with our son. We learned a whole lot about his autism and even got an additional diagnosis. And it was an incredible experience. And that had nothing to do with athletics. That was our son. Not about 9 months later, Candace Lee becomes the athletic director. She's looking for a deputy. She knows me, but not that well, and gives a call and says, hey, I don't know if you'd be interested in leaving being the AD, but would you want to come and help me run this athletic department, be the deputy AD for external? And it honestly felt like one of the very few times in my life where the Lord was signing a piece of paper. It's like, this is your message. And so it was an easy yes. And we went there, and it was a wonderful experience, and was a part of some special opportunities there at Vanderbilt as an employee. But more importantly, our son got some really, really great, help and support. And what we learned is that, really just really great public high schools or public schools were really beneficial. And this part of why Rice was an easy answer for us, because it met the academic mission that we kind of fell in love with at Vanderbilt. But it also was a city in Houston that medically is not going to be an issue. And so, it would be naive to say that did also help my career by going into the SEC. I certainly recognize that. But it was an opportunity in which I was willing to stay there as long as I had to not have regret on ensuring that our son had the best chance of being independent later in life.
Absolutely fantastic story. Thank you for sharing that with our listeners. I know, hell, I'm touched by it just listening to you tell it. But the fact that it's more, it always ends up being more than a game. We tease about, you call us Louisiana Lafayette and the video and all that, but in the end, we're all humans. And I think, look, hey, if your sons are there and your wife and y'all want to come by the tailgate, brother, we're going to have plenty of rice. We're going to be eating some rice this weekend.
Oh, of course.
Hopefully on the field too. But, our tailgate is open, and we want to welcome y'all with open arms. So please take them by.
Well, we will be there. Like I said, on Friday afternoon, I'm picking our kids up from school here in Houston. We're driving to Eunice, and I'm spending the night with my parents. On Saturday morning, if it doesn't rain, I'm looking at the forecast. I intend to play golf with a mentor of mine who taught me how to play golf. And then we'll head to the stadium probably around 4:30 or 5 o'clock.
We'll look forward to hosting you.
He's stopping in Eunice, Nick. That's the pure Cajun experience right there. Right?
Definitely is.
Family, and
definitely
awesome.
is. And you got a farm there too, right? Family farm out in Eunice.
Yeah. So we get real personal. In October of 1925, my great grandfather purchased this property, this rice farm. And, I didn't know him. He passed away. And then my grandfather inherited a share of that. And then 4 years ago, my dad and I had a conversation, and I was fortunate enough to buy it from him. My dad's still alive, but it's something that was really important for him. He wanted to see it pass as opposed to something that he knew was going to happen. He wanted to see it. And so, my wife and I now on this rice farm, which is not a great profit center. It's really good at tax time, but it also produces some great crawfish. So we've already boiled some Eunice rice field crawfish here in Houston already.
Do you dust your crawfish? Just out of curiosity.
No.
Oh man, come on, man.
My dad loves to dust it.
I do too.
I wouldn't say that I'm opposed to it, but I think some people can get it carried away. I think Cajun food, at least in my experience, less is more. I think some people think that you have to do more, and they overstimulate.
I get it. Yeah. Oh, well, look, before we get to football, because we really got to get to it, I just got to say, if you want to bring something to Brian Maggard game 1, get him a bottle of rosé. He came on the pod and he confessed to us that he is a rosé drinker now. So
well,
if you,
I actually just got this today from Brian. So
please tell me it's rosé.
No, it's not. It's not. It's a customary, right? As you're going, we'll be doing the same thing.
You're gonna bring something, yeah, of course.
A little gift, and usually it's a token towards where we'll send some barbecue sauce, right? So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I got my parking passes and my tickets and everything, but I got some
Zaps. Okay, that's good stuff, brother.
Raw taters, yes.
We got the pepper jelly.
Yep. Good stuff.
Pepper jelly,
All right.
probably my personal favorite. Some pralines.
There you go.
Nice.
And then, of course, the classic right
Tabasco.
here.
You got to go with Tabasco.
Really, I already sent him a text and said, you speak my love language. I look forward to seeing you Saturday. So.
Well, look, we speaking of tailgates again, we just signed a huge deal with the Best Stop in Scott, and we're the official. They are the official Cracklands of Ragin Review. So if you want some gratons, man, we got you covered this
weekend. Tell them we sent you. Tell them Ragin Review sent you.
That's right.
I just had blood work done, so I'm really good.
All right, let's get to football. We've been talking enough about all that other stuff. Now, obviously, you're the athletic director at Rice University. They've been last couple of years been struggling a little bit in the football world. Beat us a couple years ago in 22, man. You guys upset us when we traveled over to Houston. I live in Houston. I went to that game. Unfortunately, was not happy with the outcome, but you got one on us. We feel like we owe you for that loss a couple years ago, but I do want to talk about the new coaching hire. Scott, is it Abel or Abel? How does he pronounce it?
Abel.
Yeah, let's talk about Scott Abel. Going through the coaching search, kind of tell us a little bit about what you were looking for to get the right guy at Rice. As far as, are you looking to get back a certain offensive philosophy? Because we know you guys were an option offense at one point for so long, kind of changed that up a little bit, and now it seems like you're going back in that direction. Was that something you considered, or you're just truly looking for the best leader for your program?
Yeah, I think both, right? So, as we made the change, not in the exact middle of the year, but relatively in the middle of the year, which again, I quite frankly hate it. And the pressure that exists there is the transfer portal. And so as you're in this tension as an athletic director of, you want to retain as much of your positive talent as possible. Well, the best way you're going to do that is you got to introduce them to a face, because as soon as that portal window opens, they're getting attracted by faces, right? The people that have a name and a face. And so our strategy was we wanted to be able to name a coach so that we could get them in front of the team as soon as possible so that people could make a decision. And in general, we were relatively retained. So at least from that perspective, that was a win. So what we were looking for, I just feel like, again, my experience at Vanderbilt, I think is helpful in this, and that, the type of student athlete that we can recruit based on getting students into school here and the standard that it takes to be a student athlete, it's not as wide of a net. And so how can we have success when we might not on a given day have the same talent? And so as you look at Vanderbilt as an example, the first 3 years of Clark Lee running a pro style offense, it was a challenge because it's very, very quarterback dependent. Well, all offenses are, by the way, but it's very quarterback spin dependent. Can they throw the ball? Can they run the offense by throwing it? And that's hard when you're in the SEC and you have your left tackle has to block the Alabama tackle, and your receiver has to separate from that cornerback, and then you've got to be able to make the throw. And that's relatively what I was watching when I was here. And that when we had JT Daniels and he was on, we were really, really good. We had 6-16 that year. He didn't play in the bowl game, and you saw a step back. And so, I feel like, hey, what can we do to put ourselves in a position to move the ball in a consistent way that where there's no shortage of great athletes in the state of Texas that can play quarterback. And so how can we modify that? And that's what Vanderbilt did. Diego Pavia is not going to be recruited by any SEC school to play quarterback except Vanderbilt. And then all of a sudden now you put them in a right system and they're able to move the ball, and then they're able to have big wins because you or the point is that you're having the defense to make decisions as opposed to just fire off and go get the ball. And so that's the thought process in terms of what we were trying to accomplish. But then with that, it's who's the right leader. There are a lot of people that run option principles, but we felt like when we visited with Coach Abel, not only is he the right leader, he's experienced in really the challenges that are unique to Rice. Davidson University is an incredibly hard, or Davidson College is a really hard place to get into. And so how do you build a team when you may not get the same talent that he had to compete with? When he was at Washington and Lee, which is a different level, but also a high academic, is on many of the ranking charts that we show up on here at Rice, and took a program that had never won. And I think they won 4 conference championships when he was there. So proven winner, has done it at multiple places and run something that's unique that he's committed to. And so obviously this is game 1, similar to your quarterback, where this is their first, I think, maybe meaningful start. By the way, I grew up watching Jamie Howard, and so it's kind of fun to see his son, now be in a position to be like his father. So, we are excited. We're excited about what we're building. When you're in this era of transfers, even at Rice, even though we didn't have as many, we still have some. So you ultimately there's still some unanswered questions, probably even on your team as well, where you have guys came in and maybe they came from a program where there's a lot of hope and optimism, but until it is manifest on the field, you don't know.
So let's talk a little bit about how you mentioned about Coach's spread option scheme that he is running at Rice. I know it was very effective at his former school, which is why you hired him in the first place. Based on the personnel that you talked about with the academic side, and of course you have a certain caliber of players that would attend a school like Rice. With this spread option offense, what are some things that you're hoping to see and make it and to where there can be a longevity of success, especially with the competition that you have in the American Conference? I mean, there's some pretty good teams. They score a lot. What do you think this spread option offense can do for Rice to kind of help them score more and sort of go into these shootouts that we're now seeing in college football today?
I mean, I hope it helps us win. I mean, that's why I hired him. I mean, there's a scoreboard, and I want to put our program. Our fans deserve to win. Your fans are rabid fans. They deserve to win, and so we want to put our people in a position where they can experience that type of joy year in and year out, where you put a product together and there's an expectation that you can win more than you lose. And so I don't want to put a ceiling on what can happen ultimately, but the point of making a change is we desire to win more games. And, does that mean it's going to happen this Saturday? I don't know. We're going to find out. That's why we play the game. But we do believe that we have a coach who's been some really difficult places to win, and he has found ways to win. And, that is the goal, and that is the expectation. And I think when you look at our league with the academies, there are very few players on those teams that were recruited by any Division I school out of high school, and yet they go there and they're so committed to a system, so clean in their execution of it. And Navy beats Oklahoma in a bowl game, and Army wins the league, and it's just like, why not us? And so we are not going to run the same thing that they do, but it's similarly in principle.
I mean, let's move to the offense or the defensive side of the ball. What are your expectations for the defense this season, especially considering the offense's new focus is run heavy and they want to keep the ball? Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, the defense was, our strongest side of the ball last year and kept us in a lot of games, and, had to go right back on the field a lot of times with some 3 and out. So I'm excited and we were able to keep that staff. I mean, the defensive coordinator left and went back home to Philadelphia to be the DC at Temple, but John Kay, who is a legendary coach here in the city of Houston and won several state championships, was our linebackers coach, and then we promoted him to DC. And then the remainder of that staff held intact, and most of the players on that side of the ball stayed. And I don't remember the stat, but something like the average age of our defense is like right at 22, and the average age of our offense is like 19. And so you can just see there's just a level of consistency and maturity that's hard to gain in this era of college athletics where you have so much transfer. So what I hope to see from our defense is, quite frankly, hopefully it's similar to last year, with the ability to maybe be even a little bit, elevated because hopefully we don't have to run back out on the field as often.
Man, a spread option scares the heck out of me, man, if I'm being honest with you. And I know you're just smiling going, yeah, that's what we want, man. We want to have that option, and we got the right pieces in place. I guess my question to you is, outside, obviously you want to win game one. New staff, new scheme might take, I mean, again, you guys are gelling just like we're gelling. We have a new quarterback. We have new players on the wide receiver position, stacked at running back, but you really don't know how many games it'll take for a team to really gel and kind of get things going, especially with the new coach, new scheme, etc. What are you looking for in game one, outside of the win? What would make you happy to see Rice execute on and do game one that would build on for the rest of the season for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, again, the ability to sustain drives, I think when, the offense is going to take some time to probably get into live mode. And in this day and age, it's hard to go full tackle every day or at practice, right? I mean, you're mitigating so that you don't have injuries. So until you get to that game speed and really turn it loose, I think it may take some time to really be the best version of ourselves. But we're excited. We're excited for the opportunity. What an incredible opportunity to go on the road. You guys will be opening up a new stadium functionally and at 7:00 and home opener. It's going to be a great experience for our student athletes. It's going to serve them the rest of the season as we get into road games at Navy and road games at UTSA and South Florida. These are things that hopefully that win or lose that they're drawing off of that will help them continue, because ultimately the goal of the season is to go to postseason, to go to a bowl game. And so, that's not going to be defined whether we win it or lose the game, right? Because there's still a lot of slate in front of us. But I hope to see us be able to move the ball and that we've continued to gel on defense in a way that we saw last year.
Message to your fans and your team prior to game one next weekend. Obviously, again, you're hoping for the win, and if I were the AD, I'd be hoping for a win too and expecting a win. Let's be honest. No team goes into a game saying, "Oh, we're not going to win this one." Doesn't matter who you're playing, except maybe Alabama in their glory days. But let's talk about that. Your message to fans and the team this weekend, from a Rice perspective, on maybe getting out the first game jitters and saying we got the right guy in place.
Yeah, well, again, it's a data point, and we're excited. We have a home game against University of Houston next week that I know our fans are excited about. It's, right now, as of right now, the last time that we have that on the docket. So it's kind of for them to, hey, let's come watch this. This is I don't know how long the game's been going on. We call it the Bayou Bucket. And it's been a game that's been going on. We were in the Southwest Conference together, and we were in other leagues together. And so, and then after that, the schedule, is, we got to go win. We play Prairie View A&M, and then we get into conference. We have UConn later in the season. And, this game that we have this Saturday is going to prepare us. It's going to be a good barometer because, this game is going to be very reflective of what our conference games are going to be like.
Yeah, and by the way, you will have some fans in Lafayette for that Houston game because they took a couple key players from us over the last couple of years. It's almost like Louisiana West, Jerry. I don't know what to say about that.
Or the Houston Ragin Cajuns, I called them at one time.
Exactly.
A few of our key players are key starters for Houston. But let's talk a little bit about the overall perception of the program, especially through football. We all know football drives the bus. It's the big money maker, unless you're maybe a Gonzaga, if you will. Talk a little bit about the impact that the early success, right? Like, what do you hope for the on-field success of this football program, especially under the first season under Coach Abel? What do you hope that it will do for the overall momentum of the athletic department and kind of create sort of that domino effect for your other sports?
Well, winning in football is such a win in football has a heavy weight. It carries a lot. If you lose a game in basketball, even if it's one you felt like you should have won, you have so many more opportunities to kind of recover from that. And certainly in baseball, you guys have a great baseball tradition, and we're pretty proud of ours as well. And, it's the same thing. Even if you lose a series, it's not the end of the world. And you can kind of bounce back when you play as many games as we do. football just has such a heavy weight to each game. Whether you're Alabama and trying to win the national championship, one loss is very, very detrimental to that goal. Or if you're at a program like Rice where you're really wanting to make sure you get to 6 or 7 wins, every win is so valuable. Things are changing here. And so the thing that I would say, when I had the opportunity to interview for this job, I wanted to know that Rice was serious about the opportunity to win in football and basketball and baseball. And, our president, Reggie DeRoche, and our board chair, Rob Ladd, and the rest of the committee were very convincing. If it only convinced me even further since the time that I arrived here in the 2 years that I've been here, they're making great investments in our athletics program, giving us the resources to support the vision that we have. Abnormal, but we've made the 3 kind of top program changes in 1 year. I mean, we had a men's basketball change in the spring of 24, football change in the fall of 24, and then a baseball change this baseball season. And that's a reflection that the expectations are different. Expectations different from the investors, from the board. And so we're wanting to make those efforts as we try to increase our reputation around is Rice serious. And I would say that, again, in my experience at Vanderbilt, you're seeing that at Vanderbilt, where Vanderbilt becomes very intentional, invest, and get serious. They are a force to be reckoned with. They have a chance to be really good at every sport they choose to play. Rice is going to be in a similar position in the future because we do have the ability to invest at a high level, and we hire the right coaches. We've proven that in baseball. Prior to Wayne Graham getting hired, Rice had 5 winning seasons in baseball in like 74 years. And within his second year, they went to a regional, and then I think it wound up being 17 straight regionals, been to Omaha a bunch of times and then won it. And so it can be done at a place like Rice, and that's what we're aiming to do. Is that going to happen in the first quarter, the first game, the first season, even for someone? We have to be committed to the investment, committed to the vision, and allow that process to happen. A big ship with a small rudder turns slowly, but if we stay the course, we have the opportunity to change the trajectory of where we're headed.
Tommy, you talked earlier about taking notes this weekend while you're in Lafayette with the new stadium. How do you hope to engage your fans at home games this year, and even in the coming years when you're planning a new stadium as well?
Well, to be determined on that last piece. I mean, we are working on what is it that we can do. We, similarly, our stadium in some ways actually looked very similar. It had an upper deck with an outdated press box and then a concourse. So very, very similar design, at least on the one side. And so as we evaluate what it is that we can do, what we want to do, I think my point is that you all just did it. And so there's an opportunity there to take pictures, to write down information, and to say, hey, if we did something, was this something that we like, or maybe we would do differently? And so, as it relates to this year in terms of engagement, I mean, we're really, we're just trying to create the type of energy that you all will have on Saturday around tailgating and an owl walk, as we call it, or tailgate owlie. And give our student athletes, our fans, those that are there, an experience that they may have if they go somewhere else. And that's not something that had been done here. We started last year, and I actually think the U of H game is going to be a really, really good energy prior to the game. We've spent a lot of time on it.
You'll have some fans in Lafayette cheering you guys on for that one. We got to wrap this up because I know you got things to do, man. I do want to ask you a couple more questions, and we'll head out. First, where are you going to play golf? You mentioned you're coming to play golf in Lafayette. You going to Oakbourne? You going to the farm? Maybe you don't want to be stalked out, but just curious where you're going to play.
Well, excuse me. So again, I will be in Eunice, and so I wanted to play at the the Eunice Country Club, which is primo, and it's a 9-hole course. You play it twice, and that's where I learned to play golf. That's where I grew up, and the individual that I'm going to be playing with is the person who taught me how to play golf and was a sort of mentor. He was a hospital administrator, his career. And so I texted him and said, hey, for old time's sake, Eunice Country Club. And he said, Let's go to Casati Pines. So we'll be in Kinder, weather permitting. So
very nice. And also, by the way, I live up in Cypress, right by Black Horse Ranch. Pretty good course, Cypress Creek, right. So anytime you want to come up my way, you're more than welcome. We'll definitely host you. What are you gonna eat in Lafayette or Eunice? Because I know you're staying in Eunice. What's gonna be your spot when you come back home?
Well, my mom's kitchen and my dad's kitchen. So,
best answer ever.
Good answer. Good
yeah.
answer. Yeah.
You know, there's so many great places, you know, that I like to go. I think the all-time GOAT, in my opinion, in all of Acadiana, and I know this will probably be the next controversy, right? But is DI's. And I don't know if you're familiar, but DI's is the best. It's in the middle of nowhere between Basile and I-10.
Between nowhere and nowhere.
But great live music. It's the place that I grew up. When I was at Basile High School, if you had the opportunity to make the state track meet, so you go to district and then maybe regionals or whatever they call it, then if you won that, you went to the state track meet at LSU. And if you made that, then the booster group would take you to DI's, and that was your treat for making state. I was lucky enough to make state 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, and 12th grade in the javelin. And so I loved going to DI's, and I would get the He-Man steak, which is a ribeye with crawfish etouffee smothered over the top.
Bruh.
So then afterwards you wouldn't be able to run because you'd be taking a
No,
nap.
I never
Well, that's
performed.
over. Yeah.
I never
Yeah,
performed well in the state meet, but it was worth it.
That's awesome, man. Are you brave enough to go with the score prediction for this weekend? I mean, you know, that's tough to ask somebody that close to it, or just say you're hoping for a Rice win. I'll take that if that's all you want to do.
I mean, I never do predictions. I was just with a donor at lunch, and he asked, "What do you think?" I'm like, I just don't do it. It's just, you know, because you're just you're too close to it, and you know, there's too many nuances there, and also you know, it's not going to define the season. And so either way, right, a big win and then we lose the rest of the games. What does that mean? And so we've got to make sure that we're thoughtful about how we're building towards this season and season of success, and then building for the future.
Don't forget rosé for Dr. Maggard, man. That will impress him. He'll know where that came from.
Bottle, by the way.
Small bottles. Yeah.
At the grocery,
You can pick that up at the Circle K somewhere in Eunice. Yeah.
Well, at least it's in a bottle and not a box. So.
For sure. Now, look. Lastly, I'm going to say before we exit, DI's. That sounds like a delicious steak. Would it take that for you to be able to call us Louisiana going forward, or is that still ingrained in your? Because I heard the Louisiana Lafayette, and I'm not going to correct anybody, but look, if you want to really endear yourself to us, that's all it takes, man. A little Louisiana here and there. That's it. All right. Good answer. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Tommy McClelland, Athletic Director, Vice President at Rice University. Tommy, this has been awesome. Appreciate you coming on. Thank you for taking a little bit of our hell along the way, but I think this was awesome, and we really appreciate it, man.
Appreciate y'all very much. Thank you.
All right. That was a lot of fun, man. He, his reaction to me asking him, can you call us Louisiana? That was pretty funny. I give him to him. Josh, what'd you think?
Well, we got to stop doing these things. I can't hate these people anymore. It's like, look, I play golf at the Eunice Country Club, and when he said you'd loop it twice, it just made me laugh because that's
what you do.
It's a dinky golf course that you got to play twice. And DI's, let me just tell you, like one of my first dates with my wife was at DI's. It's in the absolute middle of nowhere. Food's phenomenal. They still have the old tablecloths on little small tables. I think they do Cajun music on Friday nights, and maybe at Wednesday on lunch. Maybe I don't know if they still do that, but yeah, dude, DI's like only a small segment of the population knows what DI's is. So he's all right in my book. I almost listening to him talk about his family's like that's rough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So anyway, I know we got things to get to. I could talk about Tommy Mack, but the fact that he came on with us was just. That was super cool.
Well, we got a big thing to come on that we got to talk about right now, brother. Because I can't even introduce him because I'm such a fanboy right now. I think he's ready to go. He looks like he's ready to go. I'll bring him on, Josh, if you want to give the big intro to the special guest we have tonight. You ready?
Absolutely. So
Well, one of the special guests, by the way, we got another one in the backstage, but we'll bring this guy on first.
Right. So we are pleased to be joined by none other than the newest Ragin Cajun NFL corner for your Baltimore, not Baltimore, Baltimore Raven, Keon Martin. Keon, thank you for letting us on Martin Island tonight, brother. What's going on?
I think I muted you, bro. You might try that again. I'm sorry. What's going on, man?
Y'all can hear me? Y'all can hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What's up, y'all? What's up?
Dude. So, first of all, like we've been kind of following you, we watch you in preseason. We're always rooting for you, So, when we saw the video of you getting told that you made the roster, I sent it to the guys and I was like, we got to get Key on the show. And when you responded, we all just kind of lost our minds a little bit. So, when we pulled you on, I've been thinking about it all day, and I don't even really need to ask questions. I mean, your story in and of itself is interesting enough. So what we've been kind of wondering as regular people, how did it go? Like, the bowl game ends, you stay home to train, you get the tryout, right? You were just a tryout. You're an undrafted free agent. You watch everybody's name get called, and then you get to go to camp. You walk into the Ravens defensive back room with a bunch of dogs, some all pros. You see Coach John Harbaugh. You watch him on TV. Talk to me. Like, what was that like? Just take us through it.
Man, I just start by saying, I kind of had a plan, like right after the bowl game. Like I had already signed with an agent, and like kind of knew where I was training at, and then went hard in training. I mean, it kind of sucked knowing like I didn't get any like senior bowl games and stuff like that, but I knew all I had was a pro day, and I knew I had to go show out pro day. So I had a great showing at pro day, and then it kind of stung a little bit not getting anything from like right after the draft. I really did expect to get like a undrafted free agent, like sign undrafted free agent, because I felt like I had a good pro day and it came off a good season, but I mean, it didn't really turn out like that. But I mean, it didn't really. It fazed me a lot though. But once the Ravens called me and told me I had a mini camp, I was like, I get one opportunity, and I just got to go out here and show that I could play in the NFL, and that's what I did in rookie mini camp. And they wanted to keep me around, see what I could do, and then OTAs, I started, just making more plays and being around the ball, and in camp, reps start going up, stuff like that. But every time I walked into the Ravens city, I always had that confidence, like the same confidence I had in college. I walked in there the same thing with the Ravens. I mean, you kind of a fan the first day when you see especially our locker room, all the big names we got in there, but after that, once you get on the football field, all the fans stuff, that stuff go out the window. So,
man, I got a million questions. I'm gonna let these guys get in first. Well, I'm gonna ask this one, then I'm gonna let them get in first. But when you get in, do the vets kind of take you under their wing? Because I mean, you're a likable guy. You play hard. Your style of play fits in Baltimore. Did they kind of just see, look, young physical corner knows how to play the game? Did they nurture you? Did they welcome you there, or was it just fierce competition, or what was that like every day in OTAs?
The competition was most definitely there, but one thing I can say is just from my experience, I mean, every rookie, go through their own experience with vets and stuff like that. But my experience with our vets, especially the one we got with Marlon Humphrey and Jay Alexander and Kai Emerson and Chido Woozy, like I ain't gonna lie, they some great vets. Like all the rookies, they came, they just, they took on that role of being a vet and like want to see you thrive in the NFL. And it's deeper than football. They want to see you succeed deeper than football. So I mean, I got a great relationship with all our vets. Like I know I can, call or text them for anything. So I got a great relationship with them.
What's it like, Rasheen Ali? I think he made the roster, didn't he? From Marshall?
Yeah, he did.
What was it like kind of having a guy you just played against, and then now he's on the same roster as you as the Ravens. Does that kind of bring you guys together and have something in common, or is that not really once you're at this level? It's just strict competition. Obviously, at different positions, but is that something that kind of you have in common and you guys kind of bond over that?
With some people, not really our leader. Ali, he's more a quiet person. He a quiet dude. I mean, we talk. We sit right next to each other in the team meetings and stuff like that. But I don't even think we talked about playing each other. We just been talking, but we ain't even talk when we played each other. Well, when he played UL, he had that big game in New Orleans Bowl. I wasn't there yet.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. You weren't there yet. Yeah. Yeah.
Then we played Marshall the year after. I don't think he played that year though. Yeah, but I really had me and Mike Green talked about it, like how he, we played each other in a championship.
Oh yeah, definitely remember that guy.
Yeah, but
who's the biggest cut up on the team, if you don't mind saying? Like, who's the guy who's gonna break everybody up?
What you mean by
like it's just being the funniest guy on the team?
So who's the funniest guy on the team?
Yeah.
Shoot.
It's probably you if you can't think of anybody.
I get my jokes in here and there.
I love it.
I say, man, it's a lot of funny people. Like, it's a lot of different personalities. That's not something I expected in the NFL. I thought it would be more business like, even from the players. But like, it's a lot of personalities in that room, and I mean, just in the building, and it kind of reminds you of college. So I mean, everybody's joking around, everybody laughing, but yeah, I say everybody it's a bunch of funny people on the team. I say that.
Now, we'll ask one serious question. You talk about your time at UL, because obviously you came to us from Youngstown State, entered the portal, chose UL. First of all, why did you choose Louisiana? Why was that the place that you wanted to go? I guess is my biggest question to you.
Well, when I was in the portal, I had a kind of a timeline of when I wanted to commit to a school because I wanted to be there for some workouts. But I also was getting surgery while I was in the portal. So a lot of teams backed out. But even when I was in the portal, I took 4 visits in a week. I went to App State, Louisiana, Wake Forest, and FAU. And then I was about to go to Wake Forest. I went to Wake Forest before I went on. Louisiana was my last visit. I actually committed to Wake Forest. But then when I went on my visit to Louisiana, I liked it was the players. Like, when I was on my visit, I could tell that like I can build like a good bond, and like the way they compete here, like I could tell by the competitive nature. And then just the scheme of the defense. The scheme of the defense fit around like my play style. A lot of man to man, and I wanted to play corner and nickel, and they wanted me to play corner and nickel, and a lot of other schools just either wanted me to play all nickel or all corner. So that's why Louisiana was the best fit.
Cole, before you go, one of our fans wants to know: did you pick off Lamar yet in practice?
Nah, I ain't picked Lamar up yet.
Never know where he's going to do, man. Is he going to run? Is he going to throw? I mean, that's tough to play against.
Bro,
Cole,
what's
go
it
ahead.
like chasing him around? I mean, that's got to be awesome.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie with Lamar. It's different when you watch it in person. He's an elite quarterback, like the elite quarterback, best quarterback in the NFL.
No, so Key, listen, I mean, we some down home South Louisiana kids. I'm sure you miss the food back here in Lafayette for sure. I mean, dude, but listen, bottom line, my question for you, and I've been thinking about this all day, was there ever a moment in the preseason that you made a play and you thought, man, I might have just made the 53, like for real? Like, was there one moment that in your head you thought, I think I just solidified myself on this roster?
Not really. I mean, I always knew that I was gonna make it hard on the front office. Like, that was my whole goal. Because I mean, it's the deepest DB room in the NFL. So I mean, I knew it was gonna be tough, but I mean, once I made a couple big plays, I kind of said to myself like it's gonna be hard for them to make a decision. But I mean, it was never really in my head. I never really had a thought in my head I need to come out here and make plays so I can make the 53. Like that was never in my head. In my head, I was really just saying I need to come out here and play fast, play confident, play how I used to play. And then if I end up on the Ravens, then I end up on the Ravens. But I'm going to put myself in the best position to stay in the NFL.
So I got to ask a football question. I watched the pick six. Did you jump the route? Was it a bad read? I think it was Hartman that you picked. Was it just kind of right place, right time? What did you see on the play?
I mean, it really wasn't a bad read by him. He kind of knew the defense we was in. Because I mean, number two, the number two receiver, he ran a vertical, and I was supposed to carry the vertical, but I was just reading his eyes. I mean, it was a 2 minute. I mean, I knew what he was trying to do, just trying to get some yards, get the chains moving in 2 minutes, and get a drive going. But once I seen that he already had his mind made up on where he was throwing the ball, I said, go make a play on the ball. So, I mean, it wasn't a bad read, though. I mean, it was a lot of quarterbacks make that read, but, yeah, I mean, it was just a great play by me, honestly.
That's what I'm talking about. What's the biggest difference between the sophistication of the defense that a Ravens run and the Cajuns run? I know you said that our defense under Salgado kind of, and I guess maybe Lamar too at the time, was a little bit different where we press a little bit, and I don't know what all they asked the DBs to do, but what's the difference? Like how much more sophisticated, how much bigger is the playbook maybe that you have to study every day?
I say the playbook, it's a little bit bigger. It's not that much, I wouldn't say, but it's a little bit bigger from Salgado's. But defense is really universal. Every team, every coach, DC runs the same stuff. It's just about the way that they coach it and the way that they teach it. So, I mean, like we really run we run a lot of the same stuff that we ran in Louisiana. It's just worded different. And, they might do a lot more disguises and stuff in there because, in the NFL, you got to disguise with how good these quarterbacks are. And once they find out what coverage you're in, then, it gets a little tricky. But I wouldn't say it's a big difference from college. I say you gotta know a lot more than just your position, though. I say that you gotta know like what the D line doing, the linebackers doing, and why is the coach making this call, like what he want this play to look like. So it's a lot of beforehand thinking that you got to think of as soon as the play call comes in. I'll say that's the biggest difference.
Maybe they'll let you blitz some.
Yeah, that's exactly what was about to come out of my mouth. It's like you get to blitz a lot more.
Yeah, I do get to blitz a lot more. I ain't gonna lie. I enjoy that part.
Well, Key, I know we told you we wouldn't keep you long, so I won't. This is my last question. I'll let these guys go. But since that moment, since you made the 53 and you called mom and everything, what's the biggest change in your life since that moment?
I got a lot of followers. I said I got about 4,000 new followers on Instagram, about 3,000 on Twitter. But I mean, it's really no biggest difference for me. I mean, a lot of people trying to, reach out and stuff like that. But, I kind of expected that. But, the people who've been in my circle since college and high school, I mean, they don't treat me no different. I get a congratulations. And, I mean, that's the biggest thing. Don't treat me different just because I'm playing for an NFL team now. So I say the biggest difference is just the title that, yeah, he's an NFL player now. And a lot of, I've been carried myself a certain way. So, but I say that's the biggest difference. that I've seen so far. I mean, I haven't been anywhere outside of, Baltimore so far. So, but, really just the social media following me and everybody DMing me. And, hey, you remember me? That's the biggest difference.
Hey, just remember the OGs, man. Just remember the OGs when you get big and you're making those millions, brother. But I wanted to say thank you for
back and give us do the Ragin review, man. I said I mess with UL, man. That's I ain't gonna be one person that be like, nah, I ain't never going back. I mess with UL, man.
I love that, man. Well, we got a spot for you in our tailgate, and dude, thank you for representing us so well, dude. You bring a lot of pride to guys like me and Josh and Jerry and Natty Daddy over there and everybody that are Cajun fans and have been for so long. You're a role model to the kids and you represent us so well. So thank you. And one last question I have for you. What Cajun on defense do we have to keep an eye on this year? Who is going to make a difference for the Cajuns in 2025?
Shoot. I mean, I feel like the biggest. I mean, it's a lot of game changers on defense.
I can tell you, I'm a Cortland Flowers fan.
Got Court back. Court gonna have a hell of a season. So I think Court, but most definitely like Skip's that game changer that we needed last year to finish off the season. If we would have had Skip. I think if we would have had Skip and Ben in that championship game, Ben or Chandler, really, honestly, if Chandler would never got hurt, I really think we would have won that game.
I agree with you. Cole, anything for Keon before we let him go?
No, I just want to show him some love. I mean, you asked a question. I just wanted to ask who was his guy that he was expecting things from this year. But listen, Key, you got your opportunity, man. Make the most of it. We love you here. I mean, Lafayette, when you come into Lafayette and you do the things that you did, I mean, we embrace you open arms. And I mean, it's full throttle here at Ragin Review. We just fans that get to do this. So, I mean, bringing you on, we are wishing nothing but the best for you with the Ravens. I mean, unless you're playing the Saints, if I get to talk a little bit. But look, dude, hey, have a ball. Just ball out. I mean, we already saw what you can do in the preseason. Just take that to the regular season and just take it to the next level, man. I wish you nothing but the best.
Man, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate y'all. I'm be at the game this Saturday, though. I'm gonna be there. So
I told you where to find us. So
we got a spot for you, brother.
Man, I'm gonna come say what's up, man.
Come on. I got some food for you.
Oh yeah. That's what I need. Man, Maryland food ain't all that out here.
We understand that, brother. Thanks again for joining us. Do your thing, brother, and we'll be following you all season. And if you have a chance to come visit, please come back.
Appreciate y'all, man.
Thanks, Key. Good luck, buddy.
Thanks, Key. Man, how freaking awesome was that?
That was awesome.
That was
so
awesome.
Cool.
Let me bring Jerry up for a second. How cool is that?
Great Cajun cornerback, DBU, baby.
Jerry, I'm sorry you had to say we're trying to keep it 4 on the screen at a time. So for the next segment, we'll give you a little bit of screen time. But how cool was that, brother?
This is why we do. That's why we do this. It's why we do this. It's why we love to interact with the players. We love to interact with our fans. But when you have one of your own that had to grind, and I mean, he wasn't drafted, right? He even had his doubts on who would pick him up, and then Baltimore comes out of nowhere and picks him up, and you see what he did in the preseason. I mean, he looks like a veteran already. I'm just so happy for Key, man. Especially look how far he's come from last year. Texas State, right? Texas State. I mean, we all freaked out. He goes down, he's not moving, and then here we are less than a year later, and he's playing for the Baltimore Ravens, and a Baltimore Ravens defense that has history. Ed Reed. Of course, you've got Ray Lewis to name a few, and he's part of that. He's part of that club now. So very happy for Key. And look, Baltimore, they're like I said, they're notorious for a defense. So if they decided to keep him around, that says a lot about him and the hard work that he's put in to get here. So congratulations to Key, man. Can't be happier for him.
Awesome. Well, that was a lot of fun, but we do have to move on because we have got some more content on the way. And I wanted to ask him what he thought about Caden Jensen. But since Caden's actually watching this, I didn't want to, risk him saying so. No, I'm kidding. I'm sure you said wonderful things about Jensen. So let's bring the man that we're just talking about, Kaden Jensen, new ambassador of Rage and Review. My man, I've talked to your dad, till 2:00 in the morning, but never got the chance to meet you, brother. How's it going? Good to meet you finally, and thank you for joining us on Rage and Review.
Man, thank y'all so much for having me. Like I've been telling Josh, super pumped up for this opportunity, and we've been longtime viewers, and so it's kind of surreal to be on here now.
I know you got family in like Minnesota tuning in tonight. I think I'm telling you, bro, we're going worldwide.
Yes, sir.
We're excited to get started with the conversation about the Rice game this weekend. Obviously working in, I wouldn't say a new offense, but a new QB1 with Walker coming in. Talk to us a little bit about what that has been like, and what can we expect that's different from how Ben ran the offense, or even Chandler ran the offense in the last couple of seasons? What in game one should we look out for from our boy Walker Howard?
For sure. The biggest thing with Walker kind of coming in, even from like a tight end perspective, was, building that personal relationship with them. And so having that time over the summer and just kind of getting to know him outside the facilities was a blessing, because he's a really good dude. And so I feel like the main thing that, he kind of offers to the table is his just dynamic, playing style. He's been lighting it up throughout camp, throughout summer and throughout the spring. And so it really kind of opens up different avenues of, getting certain guys the ball that they need. And so, he's just so talented arm wise, and he's picking up on the offense great. He's damn near mastered it at this point. And so, really, it's just full steam ahead. We're all pretty confident with him, within his game style, and so I think we're all just kind of ready to rally behind him.
Is it my turn? All right.
I said Josh go next because I knew this would take a while, so I figured let's get it out of the way.
I will not dominate. I promise. I won't.
No,
I'm going to keep it going.
We're good.
Listen, I got to tell you this, dude. Look, and you can go back to Kevin Belton. I swear. I'm going to get Kevin on the show, and he can tell you the truth. I have been throw it to the tight end guy for 25 freaking years. This is not new. I was going to do shirts and hats. I still might, especially now that we got you on board. I'm going to do a throw it to the tight end hat or something. But seriously, it's like people just don't have the appreciation that they should for what the tight end is expected to do in the offense. So I've been saying this for years. So I'm just really thrilled that we got, for you to be our first ambassador, dude. I'm gonna just tell you, we're honored, we're humbled. I got to hang out with your dad for a game, and as soon as I met that guy, I was like, this guy's my spirit animal. I need to know more about him. So I don't know. I'm just super thrilled. I'm gonna try not to go off the rails, but I'm super thrilled to have you. We love the way you play. We love the way that you carry yourself on the field. I love the way you sun people when you catch the football over their head and all that stuff. It's just, the man is always open. Throw him the damn football. But to get it started, I know I wanted to have a little fun, but to get it started, I wanted to tell you, I wanted to ask you from your standpoint, when you're on the field, and Pierce Mule used to always tell me this, well, I don't get thrown the football very often, but I get to road grade in the run game. I get to do XYZ, picking up an extra blitzer or whatever. Tight ends get a lot of satisfaction out of doing that kind of stuff, doing their responsibility. From your standpoint, is it more fun to make a big catch down the field? Is it a third down conversion? Is it helping in the run game? Is it picking up a guy off the edge to take care of your quarterback? What do you get the most satisfaction out of?
That's a great question. I'd say personally, honestly, I'm a bigger body tight end, right? And so I understand that, and I try to play to my strengths, and I've really tried to hone in personally on being dominant in the run game. And that's rewinding a little bit. That's really why I chose to come here, honestly, with my relationship with Coach Des and Coach Munoz. I knew that I would be put in a position to honestly, affect this offense in a positive way through both the run and the pass game. And I'd say for me personally, I love just physically dominating dudes on defense. It doesn't get much better than that. And so the fact that I'm able to line up across from someone and, look them in the eyes pre-snap and then dominate them, and the whistle blows and we get to do it again. Football is really the only sport you can really do that. And so, in the tight end room, in the Yaxter room, we find an immense amount of pride in that. Also, goal line head tap touchdowns are pretty fun too. That was a pretty fun one against Tulane to kind of be my first collegiate touchdown. But I'd say for me, my pride kind of really resides in the run game. And honestly, I try to pride myself on being a safety blanket for, Walk and for Daniel and for Lunch and those guys. And so, when we need a first down, I just want to make myself available. And so I think that's why our offense is going to be really dynamic this year, is because we've got all these different moving pieces with a really big and physical O-line up front, healthy O-line up front, deep O-line up front, and then we've got dynamic players on the outsides to kind of threat these defenses vertically, and then you can bring it back into the tight ends. And so, with Brock coming in and Trey and even Teddy, like we're going to have – it's going to be a really fun thing to watch, honestly.
Yeah, you said something that I wanted to touch on. This offense is going to be a little bit different than last year. That's obvious. Not necessarily better, but different. You keep using the word dynamic, which I love. You use the word dominate, which I love. I made a comment on one of the offensive we always go through position groups and everything, and we do that to preview the season. But I felt like we were going to be a threat at every level, in the flat, over the middle, in the seams, and then we could take the top off. Are you seeing that in camp? Like, I know we have speed. We're probably a good bit faster than we were last year. Am I right in thinking that we're going to be a threat at every level? And also, the fact about us being a different offense. Just talk about that a little bit.
Most definitely. I feel like I think Coach Leja had commented on one of his media availabilities as far as the amount of guys that we got running over 21 miles per hour in just a Tuesday practice. And that's elite right there, is with those catapults that we have on, or those Connexons, running that fast with those pads on in a black practice format. And so that really kind of stands to our offense as far as the vertical threats that we have with Shelton and Rob on the outsides, and even Chuck as well, Charles. And so I feel like that really opens up a lot of things. And then, like you said, it's all about being dynamic. So we're not only closed off to certain lanes of guys that we can go to. I feel like we can spread the ball with whoever's on the field. And a big thing is we've got really good depth. And so, we've built relationship with these guys as far as the quarterback to receiver connection, to where we know that if a guy's out there and it's the look that we need, then just throw it up and he's going to go get it.
So last one, and then I'll let the guys go. I know that Brock is your roommate. So yeah. Brock Chappell is the new tight end from Furman, for people that don't know, grad transfer. This guy's got a lot of games under his belt. If you watch him on tape, he looks like a man. I actually said he looked like an NFL body on a high school football field. Talk to me about why Brock is going to be part of this dynamic duo of tight ends, because I'm just telling you, when I watched his tape, I got extremely excited.
For sure. No, Brock's a guy. Like, it's just when you think of a dude, like, that's the guy right there, is Brock. And so on a mental level, his ability to come in the spring and learn our offense and pick up on it so quick, and not have to take that lag time of, giving him credit. He's new here, so it's okay, we can let that slide. No, like, the bar with him's been high, and he's met that every time. And so he's a big body tight end, and he moves really well. I think that's the big thing for him, is he's so fluid. And like you said, he's experienced. And so I don't feel like it's going to be anything different for him on Saturday when he gets out there and he plays. Like, he's been doing this just at a different form and fashion. But I mean, the biggest thing with him is he's consistent, and that's what our coaches need, and they demand out of us, is consistency. And so, Brock's a guy that we rely on. And I mean, he's my roommate. That's my boy. That's my best friend. And so I'm happy that I'm able to play beside him, because, I have that personal trust with him, and I know he's a dog too. So that's never going to be a question of if he can get the job done. So I think it's going to be a fun year for the X's. I'll say that.
Yeah. Before you go, I do want to ask this question because it's going to lead into what Jerry is about to ask you. Don't sleep on Teddy Gollick, right? Because I know he's a freshman, but I know he's going to be a contributor in some way, shape, or form this year. And all he's going to do is grow in that position. Talk a little bit about Teddy, because I don't want that to get lost. I know we got you, and I know we got Brock, but I think he's going to be an impact player this year.
For sure. I mean, Teddy's a dude too. I'll say from a size standpoint, you may look at him as a smaller tight end, but he is pound for pound one of the strongest guys in our program. And so, coming from IMG, he's got that experience, that physicality level. And I think for him, the biggest thing is he's going into his redshirt freshman year. And so the bar is super high for him. And no one's perfect. Brock's not perfect. I'm not perfect. Teddy's not perfect. But the fact that he shows up and he demands perfection out of himself, I think that's really admirable. And so Teddy's a guy that's just gonna make plays. He's a huge pass threat in the passing game, and I think his smaller body proves to be an advantage in the run game in a lot of cases because he's already the pad level is the biggest thing, and so he's already there, and he's got plenty of strength to bring to the fight. He's not 6'6", 260, but he's gonna block like that, and so that adds really good depth along with Trey Miller coming from Wayne State. Like Trey has done an incredible job with picking up the offense, and really Teddy and Trey are just completely dynamic players that we've been able to kind of rely on, and above all else, they're great dudes too. So you never have to worry about off the field issues or on the field issues. Like these guys are going to give it their all, and they're blue collar workers is what we kind of call them.
Caden, your offense, it's very dynamic this year. There's a lot of new talent coming in, and of course, to a coaching staff, I'm sure they're loving it, right? When they're coming up with the scheme and they're looking at the strategies and whatnot. And the coaching staff has been really impressive. I have to give a shout out to the 3 coaches that have been around here for a long time. That includes, of course, Coach Dez being the head coach, but also your tight ends coach, Coach George Munoz. I mean, he was here when Dez was quarterback and he was the play caller. And then you have Tim Leger, who also has been a play caller. You've got 3 offensive coaches that have called plays one way or another. Talk a little bit about their creativity in the offensive scheme and how that's kind of implemented what the assignments are for the tight ends.
For sure. I mean, those guys they do an incredible job. And going back again, that's the whole reason why myself and a lot of people have chosen to come to the school, and play, because, players recognize that, it's easier to go out and run through a wall for a coach when you know that what he's telling you to do, it's going to put you in a position to succeed. And I know on a personal standpoint, Coach Munoz, it's nothing but the best from him. I keep talking about the bar, and the bar raises every day with him. And so he holds us to an NFL tight end standard. And he knows this offense that we run, the way that they scheme it, it's an NFL style offense. This offense is what you're going to see on Sundays. And so he knows, and they have a humble sense to them where it's not the plays. Coach Des says this all the time. There's no perfect play. There's no perfect touchdown play. The players make the plays. But I think those coaches, the 3 of them especially, they do an amazing job about putting us in the best position to succeed. And even Coach Burge as well. They take there's a whole lot of pride that kind of goes into what we put out there of game day. And so, like I said, they harp on, it's not them that's making the call that's gonna win the game, but it's the players. But they do an amazing job at getting us prepared and making sure that we know that, this set of call sheets, like this is what we're rocking with, and it's gonna win the game. And so I'd say that's for the most part.
Good question from Andy Thomas asking how many 2 tight end formations we're running this year. I don't know if you want to disclose that, but I'm assuming that's something we have to look forward to in 2025, right?
Oh, for sure. I'd say you could for sure expect some two tight end formations, especially, we saw it sometime around the gold zone and like the goal line, but especially out in the open field with it being dynamic, there's going to be a lot of moving pieces. And so I feel like y'all can expect some 2 tight end formations out there.
Sounds good. Go ahead, Josh.
Oh, I was just going to ask him how the players like the new uniforms.
The new uniform.
I hate them.
Especially the black ones. I like them. I have no problem. What is your problem with the uniforms?
I like the whole other conversation for a whole other day. We're entertaining the ambassador right now. Leave me alone.
No, the uniforms are good. I personally, I've never been a big guy that's going to harp on uniforms. I just like to just go out and play. But I'd say, there's some guys that like them. There's some guys that don't. But I personally like them. I like them. The material is different than some of our other ones. And so I think that's the drawback. But, I mean, I like them. I like them.
For sure. There's rumors that there's a new black uniform and everybody's all...
Cole hates it. He says we look like the Falcons.
The streets are saying we're getting a new black uniform. So, I was trying to see if I could bring that up and get you to say something. But, no, man, look, I just... Before we get off, I don't want to keep you... Look, the man is fresh off of film. He had practice today. The guy's busy. I don't want to keep him too long, but I do want to say, again, how awesome it is to be involved with this situation. And me personally, tied in as the ambassador, it doesn't get better than that. That's bad. I wouldn't have picked anybody else.
We
And
all knew
I
this
love
was
all our
coming.
players.
I mean, we all knew this was coming.
He
Well,
told a former head coach the first critique, why don't you throw to the tight end more?
The damn
He told
tight
this
end.
to a former head coach. Like, do you have any things you want to add? Yeah, why don't you throw the damn tight end?
He's
Literally
always open.
word for word.
He's
Yeah.
a mismatch, baby. You gotta know that, coach. Anyway, I just want to say thanks in front of everybody. I saw you got a couple more followers on the social media account, so hopefully we can continue to help each other. But look, dude, honestly, we are rooting you on. We're wishing you luck. We're gonna be. I'm sure there'll be some ambassador signs in the stands. Anytime you score a tutty, I'm gonna go berserk on the social channels. But we look forward to some fun post games, and we look forward to you coming on and visiting with us and hanging out. I predicted us to go undefeated this year. I think I got some love in the locker room for that. But see, Jerry's laughing. Jerry has no confidence. That's his problem.
And I said we lose to Southern Miss.
Yeah, Nick blacked
I'm
out.
sorry, dude. I had a little show. I had a fit.
Look, I'll say this. I think Josh has us in the CFP, so we'll be there. We're gonna.
I
be
do
there
too.
one way or
Josh
another,
and Nick
wherever we
both
go.
have us in the CFP. I'm just saying.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Facts,
Yeah, dude.
baby.
So floor is yours if you want to say anything for a couple seconds, then get out of here so you can go do your whatever it is that awesome tight
Sleep.
ends do at night. They don't sleep.
No.
They wait, Nick.
Yeah, hey, we're sitting on G waiting for O. We're ready. But no, I like I said, I've been in talk with you, Josh, but and y'all too. I'm really blessed, honestly, to be in this position, and so like I came here to play football, and I'm blessed to be in a position where other things pop up from that, and so all the thanks goes to y'all, and so I'm all in with the Cajuns. I try and make that evident. Like I try and give back to the community as much as I can, because even from my first visits here, I knew that the type of love that was in this community and within this program, and so being in a spot to where I'm able to directly impact that, it just humbles me, and so all the thanks goes out to y'all, and so I'm super pumped up. Like I said in those texts, I'm always pumped up whenever anything Ragin Review kind of pops up, and so like I said, longtime listener, and it's kind of surreal to kind of be involved with y'all now, but like I said, all thanks goes to y'all, and so thank y'all.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you. And, get some rest, brother. And we'll have some cracklings for you on the post game.
Come on now. Yes, sir.
Celebrating the dub, right?
Yes, for sure. You know it. Come on.
That's right.
Want to know, man. Want to know every week.
All right. Thanks, Kaden. You have a good night, man.
Thank you.
All right. Kaden Jensen, brand ambassador for Ragin Review. Boys, that was a lot of fun. I put the wrong person. I mean, I love you, Lane, but you're doing background work. We had to get Natty Daddy on. Cole, I know you were chomping at the bit to get in on that, but you got Keon,
Lane.
okay?
Let me say this about Lane, because he didn't get to get on. Lane has done so much background work.
Holy cow.
Dude, Lane deserves the largest of shout outs. He's been killing it.
Hold on, let's bring him on and give him a golf clap, everybody.
You
Golf clap to
you
Lane.
deserve a lot bigger than a golf clap. You did great this week. You've been doing great. Thanks for all the things you did this week, dude. You are as big a part of this as anybody.
I appreciate it. It's been a lot of work, but I know we're all proud of what we're doing. So,
And you didn't lose your shit on us, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, not yet.
Not yet. It's coming.
Oh, man, I have been an asshole this week.
Well,
Dude, let me tell you. But you know what? Listen. I was, I was telling Cole, like we were on the phone call after we talked with. Well, I mean, we're not going to say we were talking to somebody else, and I'm like, dude, I see where Josh was so successful as an engineer because you're at a level. You were at a level the other day where it was like I've never seen you before, and you were like laser focused, and then you text us at like midnight, and you're like, all right, guys, all right, boys, the computer shut off. It's now almost midnight, and it's. I think it was like I've shut this computer off for the first time since 5:30 a.m. I'm like,
yeah, and this dude's like, hey, I finished the song. Now make the video and have it by 15 minutes from now. I'm like, bro, like that takes me 2 weeks to make a what?
We need, we need to do. We need to do.
Catherine, come get your man, bro.
Listen, when Josh gets in the zone, we need to have like a live cam at his desk just to watch him because he's probably like a spider with all kinds.
I don't think we want a live cam at Josh's desk. Okay, we got to focus, boys. We got to focus. We've got stuff. Cole, you have one thing to say? No, he's telling us we need to pause and move on. Okay, so we do need that. Yeah. Because we still have stuff to do and we're an hour and 30 into it. We need to get to the Rice preview. I know Cole has done and Josh has done some fantastic work, but Cole is the stat man. Anytime you need to know what's going on, Cole is your guy. So Cole, take us through what we can expect from the Rice Owls coming to Cajun Field Saturday night at 7 o'clock.
How do you like that? We are an hour and 45 minutes into a show, and we actually get to the show. So everybody who's watching, listen, this is the Rice Breakdown. You ready to go? Okay, here I am too. All right, so for those of you who do not know, Rice now runs a spread option. They have a brand new head coach. He was the coach at Davidson. They led D3 in all of offense, apparently. And Tommy McClelland is a genius in the fact of he brought somebody from a lower level to come to their school and to just try to recreate the success that they had at a lower level, which
Very nice.
For what we know, the Sun Belt used to do. I mean, look at Georgia Southern, Georgia State, and XYZ. So I'm going to get to their offense. And, bottom line is this. Rice goes into the season from a line. They're only favored, 3.5 wins, losses. Take that as you may. We'll get to the score predictions later. But they're going to be led by quarterback, redshirt sophomore Chase Jenkins. He's 6 foot 175. Good-looking kid. He's very, very fast. He was a quarterback, converted to wide receiver, and then converted back to quarterback whenever they made the change to the offense. He has no starts. He has 5 appearances at quarterback back in 23. His career stats, he has 100 passing yards, 85 rushing yards, and 1 touchdown. So this kid is pretty much just blue. He's blue as could be. And you know what? I mean, I can't talk crap because Walker Howard, in a way, is just like him. You got 2 kids that have a lot of potential that are making their first career start. But I'm going to keep going. Their running back 1 is a redshirt junior, Quentin Jackson. And this kid's a different story. He's 5'7", 160, very small kid, but he's all AAC kick returner. He was number 7 nationally with 589 yards returning last year. His career stats, he only has 315 yards rushing, 1 touchdown, but he does have a couple of yards receiving with 156 and 1 touchdown as well. He is known for a receiver. The reason that he's on that roster as RB1 is his speed. He has track speed, and if you cannot contain, he will be havoc. He will create havoc, and it will be a long day for the Cajuns. I'm going to keep going. Running back 2A, and listen, this is a spread option offense. So I'm going to talk a lot about the running backs because obviously they're going to be very run heavy. Running back 2A is going to be redshirt senior Max Bellarzer. I mean,
Bell Shaws, we'll call him that.
Thank you, Bell Shaws. Give me something because I've only been in East Louisiana. I don't know. I never recognized that name. But nonetheless, he's 5'11". He's actually the biggest of the running backs. 5'11", 201. He's a transfer from Coastal, which I should recognize his name. He's a transfer from Coastal. He was injured all of 24 and transferred to Rice. His career, Coastal stats: 352 rushing yards, 4 touchdowns, and 82 receiving yards and a touchdown. So clearly he can run it and catch it if he needs to. Running back 2B, because it's a lot of running backs in this offense. Dalen Alexander, a redshirt sophomore, 5'10", 215, injured all of 24 as well. So you got 2 backup running backs that were injured all of last year that are trying to fill their space. Career stats: 35 rushing yards, 5 touchdowns. He was used in a very short yardage situation, and clearly with 5 touchdowns, it was successful because he's averaging a touchdown for every 5 yards he had. 5 touchdowns and 3 reception yards for a touchdown. So this kid got minimal touches, and he has 6 touchdowns to his name. That's incredible. So keep off of that. Now we're going to go to the slot. The slot at Rice. These are wide receiver / running back combos. You need to look out for grad transfer Aaron Turner. He's 5'8", 184. He's a transfer from Cincinnati. So clearly he knows how to play the game. His career Cincinnati stats, he had 97 rushing yards, 174 in terms of receiving yards, and 2 touchdowns. He's going to be that, like I said, he's going to be the number 1 guy when it comes in terms of that running back / wide receiver combo. With this spread offense, we're going to see a lot of that. And then slot number 2 is going to be Tyson Thompson. He's a redshirt senior. He's 5'9", 185. He was actually number 4 in the conference for punt return yards last year with 173. His career stats, he actually has 0 rushing stats, but he has 11 receptions. So they're planning to use him in a different way this year with a new head coach, and clearly so. I mean, that's what makes Rice tough this year in terms of defense, and Josh is going to get to that later, is that you got a new head coach and you got a new offense that's just going to do things that, we're not maybe not prepared for. But before we get to Josh, I got 3 more positions to cover. Their wide receiver 1, he is a redshirt junior, Braylon Walker. He's 5'10", 172. In 24 last year, he had 7 starts and 11 appearances. He's going to be their number 1 this year. He had 541 receiving yards and 4 touchdowns. That is their clear-cut number 1. If they're going to take a top off of a defense, like let's say they fake something, let's say they're having success, and they want to hit something over the top, they're going to Braylon Walker. He is a speed threat, and we have to contain every play. But before I get out of here and I give it to Josh, their offensive line, and I'm not going to go into too much depth, but I will give you some stats. They only have 2 of 5 returning starters, and those two guys are senior David Stickle, who is the center, and the right guard senior John Long. Both of those guys have starts from last year. Their stats from last year: they were number 7 nationally in sacks allowed. Okay, Rice had a pretty, I'm gonna call it a mediocre year. Not to even be ugly, a mediocre year. They were number 7 in sacks allowed with 11. That's pretty impressive. But they were number 97th in the country in total yards per game with 353. Piggybacking on that, they were number 113th nationally in rushing yards, which is what this offense is built off of now. They were 113th nationally with 114 yards per game. Acadiana High has more than that, boys. Run the veer. And the last thing I'll bring is 112 nationally in points per game with 22. You're going to need more than 22 points on Saturday to beat the Cajuns, because we have way too much potential and way too much upside. And I want y'all to go around the horn and talk about that offense. But Josh, I'm excited to hear about what you got to say about the defense.
Josh, you got a tough road to hoe here, buddy, because let me tell you something. That was the most entertaining preview of any team we've ever had in the history of Ragin Review, period.
That deserves a standing ovation. Not only because it was informative, but because it was absolutely
it was amazing.
Entertaining. I can't follow that. My notes they're piss and shit compared to that.
Good luck with it, brother.
Man, good job. I just love how much he loves it. He's all in.
The man was he showed his passion. It's passion.
Sounds like we need to worry about the wheel route. A lot of running backs, a lot of speed in the backfield. We got to be careful. We can't over pursue.
And we cannot have a Natty Daddy segment without talking about the veer in some way, shape, or form. So we got that in tonight.
I respect it. Y'all want to comment on it, and then I'll go on defense?
No, I think that was fantastic. Jerry, you have anything to add?
The only thing I have to add is I'd love to see Acadiana go in the shotgun just to see Natty Daddy lose his mind.
We're not even getting into that tonight. I ain't got the energy.
Man's gonna be throwing down his headset in the press box and storming out. No, I'll tell you this about Rice. In 2022, they ran a similar offense, kind of like a spread, but they had McCaffrey in the backfield. I'm kind of wondering, because he was the X factor that night. I mean, he did everything against us. I'm kind of wondering who that X factor is going to be this weekend, and who's the guy we have to key in on. Usually in a spread offense or a spread option offense, there's 3 or 4 guys. I'm hoping that it sounds like from what Cole described, they do have some youth coming in with a new system. And I hope that youth kind of overexposes their potential to move the ball down the field against our front 7. Because I think, I'm going to tell you guys, man, our defensive line, they're big, they're athletic, but they're young. So it's going to be interesting to see how they acclimate themselves against an offense like this. That's kind of the matchup I'm looking forward to this weekend.
Well, I just hope that none of their linemen stick a finger up our players' booties this time around.
I forgot about that.
I didn't forget about that. That was ridiculous. Josh, let's take it to the defensive side of the ball with Rice. Tell us what you found out.
You know, Cole kind of gave us some numbers that were odd. They were all over the place. Excuse me. They were able to protect the quarterback, but they couldn't push the ball down the field. It's odd. It kind of carries over to defense. They have some stats that will surprise you and then also be exactly what you expected. One thing that I thought was interesting that stuck out is their turnover margin was 125th in the country. They were minus 10. So anything they did well, it seems like they would negate with a turnover. Defensive stats from last year, odd unit. 35th in the country in total defense. You say, not bad. It's an AAC school. You know, that's probably middle of the pack, maybe even upwards of top 3 or 4 in the pack, right? 30th in tackles for loss in the country. 40th in passing efficiency defense, okay? 8th in pass defense as a whole. So those are pretty solid numbers. And then you start looking a little bit deeper in, you see 84th in rush defense. And if you look at their PFF grades for on a per-game basis, they struggled tackling. So the fact that they couldn't stop the run is not all that surprising. Their red zone defense was 95th in the country. So if you get the ball down deep against them, chances are you were getting points. 58th in third down defense. You know, not awful, not good, kind of middle of the pack, 5-6 win team. You typically don't stop guys trying to possess the football. 72nd in scoring defense as a whole. Giving up points down in the red zone, you're going to probably have that problem. They have 2 guys that we absolutely have to – look, there's a lot of change. They lost a lot. There's a lot of guys that they have – playing time, but not a lot of starts, similar to our secondary, where, and then also linebacker core, where we have some reps, but we don't necessarily have a lot of seniority with regards to starts. Blake Banish, their defensive lineman, redshirt senior, 6'3", 341. He'll plug the middle. He's going to do damage. He will probably demand a double team. He's just one of those old-timey, nose guard guys that'll just get in the trenches. Probably won't put a lot of numbers on the stat sheet, but he's just going to wreck plays. He's their guy. He's their number one big-time defensive star. You're going to hear his name, Blake Banish. Linebacker core is the strength of their team. They're deep. They're fast. Their linebacking crew has a lot of snaps under their belt. Nobody better than Ty Morris. He's a junior, 6'2", 229, very athletic. He's great in the run. He will take some chances, and he is very aggressive. So in pass defense, you might be able to get over on him a few times, but he is an all-AAC type player. You're going to hear his name. He makes plays. He gets in the backfield. I think he's ripe to be picked on a little bit in the tight end game. I'm not just saying that because we just talked to our guy, but seriously, he will get stuck with his nose in the backfield a lot. They have 2 guys that they were expecting a lot from this year in the defensive secondary. Play Wyatt. He plays in that Viper role, which is kind of like our star buck position. Think Court Flowers. He's injured. Hasn't been very active at camp. They don't expect him to play. He has pretty much no reps in the last couple of weeks. Don't expect him to play, so Play Wyatt's not going to be in there. Also, Marcus Robinson, he's the projected starter at free. He's injured. He's in a walking boot. So a lot of your seniority in the defensive backfield, in the secondary, is not there. They're going to be starting a young guy, doesn't have a lot of starts, does have a lot of reps. He's played in, I think it was 31 collegiate football games. Limited starts, but he does have the experience. He's going to be it strong. I don't expect a whole lot from the defensive secondary just because of all the new faces. We talked about their ability to defend the pass. They're not a good tackling defense. This is the deal. The way that we're going to match up against them, our strengths are their weaknesses. They don't tackle well. They don't stop the run. Outside of Banish, they don't have much on the defensive line that's going to be physical with 5. Well, we have 3 redshirt seniors and 1 redshirt junior and a junior. I think that our seniority is just going to overpower that defensive line. It's very thin. If we can find a way to get outside of those linebackers in the middle, I don't see how we don't run all over their defense. One thing I will say about the defensive secondary, if you look at about halfway through the year, and I don't really know what happened, maybe they got comfortable in conference play, their PFF grade increased every week down the stretch. So it is an improved unit. Call it coaching, call it experience, I don't know. But they can stop the pass. I don't think, you guys know this, it's an old adage, defense is ahead of offense the first 2 to 3 weeks. I don't think we're going to rely heavily on the pass in week 1. I don't think we're going to rely heavily on it against McNeese either. I think we're going to try to establish line of scrimmage dominance, run the football, see if we can get down to that 3 and 4 running back to get those guys some reps. I think we're going to try to run the football. If that's the case, I just really like the matchup. And I know Vegas keeps changing the numbers, and we can get into that later in Lane's segment. But based on the way that we match up, I think our advantages are just too pronounced. And those names that I mentioned will jump off the stat sheet at you. You're going to hear those names called. But outside of that, it's a lot of new faces, a lot of new guys that are going to have to be called on for production. I just like the Cajuns in that matchup.
What I want to see against their defense is our ability to sustain a long drive, because how many times last year did we push it down the field in 2 to 3 to 4 plays, score, and then put our defense back out there? Look, we can be as talented as we want, but if we keep our defense on the field because we're not sustaining drives, that makes it tough on them. So I have confidence in our our defense to contain this spread option offense that they're bringing to the field this weekend. I just think, again, we need to sustain some drives against a defense that we know we can run against. I just don't want to abandon that and say, oh, well, we're running it, so let's just start passing it, and then, you know how things go downhill from there. Jerry, what do you want to see against Rice this weekend? I mean, this is great breakdowns by both of the fellows. Thank you guys for doing your homework there. But it sounds like we have a significant advantage on both sides of the ball. It just depends on whether or not we execute on offense and defense. Your thoughts?
I think offensively, I think we can run a balanced attack this weekend. It is interesting that it was kind of lopsided that their pass defense was so much better than their rush defense. And if they're missing tackles, what gives – and look, it's a brand new team. It's a brand new year. But if that pours into this game, I think we can use 4 of our running backs and rotate them, especially the 2 freshmen who are going to be in the rotation as well. And then on top of that, I think you can set up some wide receiver screens. You want to get Walker Howard comfortable early on in the game. He doesn't have to go vertical. You got some young receiving core. You got some young receivers. Josh said their secondary and their defense has trouble tackling. Run some screens. Run some receiver screens. Cut up field. Now, granted, that may create them a little more up tempo, but we have to get our feet wet too offensively. You know, you're going to have some new guys. You're going to have a new quarterback. You've got some new receivers, some short pass game mixed in with a little run. As long as we get some yardage down the field and we're able to get in the red zone, because apparently they're bad in red zone defense, I think that's a good opportunity to get our feet wet. So I'm looking for that on offense, being able to score. Defensively, like I said earlier, you know, I hope that we can expose their youth and their brand new scheme. So, obviously don't want to give up the big play. This is a very assignment-driven defensive strategy we're going to have to follow against a spread option offense. But look, I think Coach Salgado will have some good tricks up his sleeve. I think we'll have a good scheme going into it. And I think you have to play fundamental football. You got to follow the football and hit the quarterback, hit the guys with the football. You know, they're going to be trying to, like you said, running wheel routes and going up and down the field. I like this matchup. I really, really like this matchup. And I feel really confident we're going to get some revenge from 2022. We
like the matchup in 22 too, but I think this is two completely different teams.
We are
totally different programs.
Yeah. It's not even close. I mean, we're a veteran laden team now. This is year 4 of the same coach that this was game 3 for him. Right.
Right.
It's a totally different dynamic. And plus they're in the situation we were in 22 with a brand new coach and almost kind of a new team when you really think about it, you know,
in many ways. What I love about it is we're going to find out if that new defensive line, I say new defensive line, that improved defensive line and that extra level of experience and all that stuff. And by the way, we got some linebackers back that we missed last year. We're going to find out what we got because they're going to have to play physical football. And that red smoke defense, baby, it's coming for you. But I just want to see those linebackers play because I think they're going to get after people. I mean, Edwards is back and healthy. Cam, by the way, there's a tweet out there that I confirmed before the show with people that would know on the staff that tweet is inaccurate. Cam Whitfield is in the 2 deep. So people that are saying he's not, that's a bunch of BS.
That was weird. That was
somebody
terrible,
missed somebody missed a comma or something there. But the point I'm trying to make is the linebacker core, as far as the defense goes, I think I know what I have in the safeties. I think I know what I'm going to get. It might take a game or two, but I think I know what I'm going to get in the cornerbacks. I want to see this front seven perform.
Yes.
I want to see him get physical,
right.
own the line of scrimmage, get in the trenches and do the dirty work. Make teams respect you. And going to Missouri, they're going to have to respect you in order for that to even remotely go our way. Now, I think we're going to win the game. I predicted we're going to win the game. But you got to put it on tape. If you don't put it on tape, nobody's going to respect you. It starts against Rice.
We've got 2 games to get it right. So that's why I'm not expecting us to dominate game 1. I think we're not going to show all of our cards in game 1 or game 2. So if the score ends up being like 31-23 or something, I'm not going to press a panic button because I don't know, man. I don't think we're gonna. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking the wrong way. I just don't think we'll show everything that we need to show, and I don't think I'm getting blown up because I can tell the looks on your faces. You guys think we're going to win by 28.
Remember,
I don't.
125th in the country in turnover margin. Just remember that.
Well, that's going to be the key to the game. Is we can't turn the ball off either. So turn the ball over. So that's something that we got to watch out for as well. I think that's the only way Rice beats us, honestly. If we come out, have a poor game, and turn the ball over, don't get any turnovers, I think that's our key to losing the game. Cole, any thoughts on defensive play before we move on?
No, I mean, I talked about it the other day when we did the defensive segment. I mean, the defense needs to lead the way. That's the key to any great team that ever does anything in college football. You have to have somebody on defense that's going to step up and just be a dog, for lack of a better word. So I'm counting on the defense. As much as I love offense, I want the defense to step up and just lead the way throughout this entire season, because that's the only way we're going to get anywhere. But as far as game 1 and hell, even game 2, going back to what we talked about, when the stadium is full, and it will be full, perform to expectation. If you want a full house on Saturday night, you better show up this Saturday and play ball. And it starts on offense. People love fireworks. I'm going to get real quiet. People love fireworks. They love fireworks. So if you can light up the scoreboard with touchdown after touchdown after touchdown, to hell with the defense. The defense will give you the football back, but you got to put the ball in the end zone, right? So that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to keep it real quiet. First 2 weeks of the year, let's get after it. Let's win these games and just take our ass to Missouri and beat them too.
God, that sermon.
I felt like we needed some organ music in the background there.
The congregation says hallelujah.
Hey,
St. Basil says hi.
That's what's up.
Shout out St. Basil KCs. You know, I used to DJ those youth group dances back in the day, and I'm so old when they played Daisy Dukes. I got to play Daisy Dukes and ride the donkey. Anyway, let's turn our attention to more important things that have nothing to do with St. Basil, but shout out to those guys. Let's talk about the upcoming tailgating that we have planned for Ragin Review coming up. Josh, you've done a lot of planning, a lot of work on this. I know we got a lot of things planned, especially now with our partnership with the Best Stop. So talk to us a little bit about what we got going on this weekend and where our Ragin Review people can find us.
You know, at some point, y'all got to start doing the sponsorships too. Y'all making me out to be the bad guy.
No, we don't. You're doing it all, brother. You're good.
Dude, so first of all, Cole's got us hooked up with Uncle Jay. If you haven't seen Cooking with Uncle Jay on the social media platforms, guy is awesome. He's probably one of the more popular just Cajun chefs out there. He just sits on his back patio and makes tremendous meals. And we got to meet him today and learn about his story. And anybody who meets him is going to love that guy. He's going to be, I don't know if he's going to do it this Saturday. He will be there this Saturday, but one of the 2 Saturdays coming up in the next 2 weeks, he's going to throw down for us. And we're incorporating the Best Stop in that situation. So if you're hungry and you like to eat and meet the guys, just look up in the sky, find the flag. We're under it. Come hang out with us, and we'll have a good time. We'll cut up. But yeah, the tailgate's going to be good. All of our families are going to be there. As far as I'm concerned, and I'm sure we'll have to kick some people out of the 30 by 30 space, but as far as I'm concerned, man, everybody's invited. If you're on Threads and you need a place to come and hang out for the game or before the game, come hang out with us. If you're an out-of-towner and you don't have anywhere to call home, look up in the sky, find the flag, we're under it. I'm dead serious about this. I'm not just doing it for the show. We're trying to coalition build. Ragin Review has always been, and I will continue to say, it's always been about building the fan base from a grassroots level. There ain't nothing more grassroots than cooking under the tailgate and turning on the generator and flipping the TVs on and, just having, you're talking about preaching. Fellowship. We're just going to have fellowship. Cajuns fellowship. We want to meet people. We want to pick your brain about what it's like to be a Cajuns fan, what you would improve, what you think we do well. And I'm talking about from the show perspective, but also as a Cajun fan, like how can we get together and improve our lot in life? That's what this is all about. Can't wait to see everybody out there. I think, based on the numbers we've been told, sounds like the stadium's going to be a little bit more full than people are expecting. So you might want to tell your mom and them to get there a little earlier than they expected, because I think we're getting pretty close to not having many tickets left, as far as I can tell and from what we've been told. But anyway, as far as the tailgate, look, this is our first year doing it. This is not our first year tailgating. I've been tailgating at Cajun Field over half of my life. This is the first time we're making it a Ragin Review thing, pulling all our families in, making it a singular point of contact to be able to meet everybody that's involved. So come drink with us, come eat with us, come say hello, come get to know us, and we're very sincere about that.
We do have, technically, we have 2 tailgate spots. I do have the casting couch. I got to admit, I have a little bit of social anxiety. So when I'm around a bunch of people, I get really weird and leave. So if I don't get to see everybody this weekend, it's not because I don't want to. I just get real weird. Shots help. I will say that. If you guys have that on hand.
I'm glad you said that. We do have sponsor. How do you even say that? We have sponsor-provided alcohol, adult beverage, excuse me. I didn't say adult beverage for anybody who's 21 and over. See that? Look at that. I'm learning. And if you want to partake, it will be complimentary in some cases, not all. There are guidelines we have to follow, but mostly complimentary. So come on. Come have fun with us. Come hang out. Like, we're just trying to have fun. We're Cajun fans. Before any of this started, we're just football fans. We're just Cajun fans, and we will always be that. And that's what our tailgate is going to be all about. It's going to be all of us, our families, enjoying the day. The weather's going to be great. We're going to get a little drizzle early in the morning. I think the high is like 82, 83, somewhere in there.
Oh, it's going to be great.
So no excuses. No excuses. Come hang out. Come eat. Come hang out. Come drink. Come to the game. Let's hang out after. Y'all can try to holler on the post game and try to get on the post game if you want. I see Phil still in here. Phil's going to have you turned on at the GOAT. They're going to have Ragin Review post game at the GOAT. So if you're drinking at the GOAT, call into the show. Say you're at the GOAT. Maybe they'll give you a drink. Talk to Phil. I don't know. I don't know how this is all going to go. This has all happened in the last, 4 hours. So,
Paul, Cat, you made me think Phil Steele was here. You're like, Phil Steele? I'm like, Phil Steele's watching this. What?
Friend of the show.
For anybody wondering, we're in tailgate spot 149, so we're right on Reinhardt. So right where the Teague meets the track and field, we're on the other side of that, and you'll see us. I mean, look for the big Ragin Review flag. We're not hard to find. We're kind of in the area where the Cajun walk begins. So when you see the players get off the bus, you'll see the big flag in the background right by where those buses land for the Cajun walk. So we're right in the heart of everything, and we picked that spot for that reason, for you to come and hang out with us, like Josh said.
Look up in the sky. You will see a very large flag. We are under it.
All right. And with that, I do want to ask you, Natty Daddy, Uncle Jay. Let's talk about him. Who is Uncle Jay, and why is he a big deal that he is going to be at our tailgate this weekend? Talk to us about it.
So Uncle Jay, anybody that's familiar with TikTok or just social media in general, Johnny Carey, which is my buddy from Acadiana High School. We graduated back in 2012. Johnny graduated with me. I've been friends with him virtually my whole life. Johnny is an Army veteran, served for 12 years, got out of the Army recently, and turned to his wife and said, what do I want to do for a career, now that I'm out of the Army? And his wife, who is very in tune with social media and just stuff like that, said, well, you cook pretty damn well, and you like to drink, And I tell you what, Cajun chefs like the Cajun Ninja and Stale Cracker and stuff like that, they're pretty popular. Why don't we go ahead and start a TikTok channel for your page? And he said, nah, I don't know about that. So his wife said, okay, cool. Well, she got him drunk one night and they made a rice and gravy. And lo and behold, his rice and gravy decided to go viral overnight. He literally he slept it off. And when he woke up, his sister, his wife, and all of his partners told him, you went viral, dog. You had 50,000 views and you gained like 10,000 followers. So long story short, Uncle Jay is from Scott, Louisiana, graduated from Acadiana High School, very good friend of mine. We are trying to create a partnership with him where we get him over to the tailgate. He might cook some of the Best Stop stuff, which, I mean, today, the Best Stop unveiled, the tailgating platters and whatnot. But Uncle Jay, he's an Army vet. He cooked for all of his soldiers. He knows what he's doing. He's very in tune with all the seasonings, all the sauces. He's actually got a seasoning blend of his own, which we're going to allow him to present, later on in the show once we get this partnership really rolling. But be in touch with Ragin Review, because within the next coming weeks, possibly by next weekend, we get this man over to the tailgate and we can create some grade A content with you guys coming, share a drink with us, share a laugh with us, and we get Uncle Jay cooking some great food for you guys.
Love it, man. Thank you so much for putting that together. That's going to be awesome. Josh, I know you're looking forward to it.
Can we just stop for just 1 second and understand that adding Cole is one of the best decisions we've ever made? Like, this thing is just a whole nother level of entertaining. This dude is, I love it.
He's passionate, man. His passion
he loves
comes
it.
through the
I
screen.
love that he loves it. It's just awesome. It's just great. Thank you for doing that, by the way. That connection's going to end up being massive.
All right, boys. Well, we got a couple more segments left. Really quick, we do want to get to a very important one that we're starting for the first time this season. Been trying to do this for a little bit, but we never really got to do it. So let me go ahead and share something real quick if I could find this. There we go. This is Lane's Lines for the first time on Ragin Review. So Lane, tell us about what we got on the betting side for the upcoming week.
So like you said, we've been working on this for, I guess, a year or so now, and it just never worked out. And then finally, within the last 3 weeks, I was like, let's give it a try and go with it for the season. Louisiana started out around 14.5, 13.5. The money line's down to 11.5, and the over-under is 47.5. I decided I don't normally pick the Cajuns when I bet, but if I was to bet on that game, I would definitely pick the 11.5 and take that. Wake Forest at Kennesaw State. The spread is 17.5. I was a little iffy on that one. I was going to pick the spread in that, but I decided to take the money line with them. And the top matchup for me, I feel like, in this one is the App State Charlotte series, same area of the country. They're rivals in that neck of the woods. I picked App State 6.5 on that. And Georgia Southern and Fresno State, with the offensive firepower that both of those teams have, it was tough not to go with the over, or it was an easy decision to go with the over on that one at 51.5. Surprisingly, that spread started out at 0.5. I'm like,
oh, wow.
I've never seen that before. It's basically a pick'em. I mean, it's still a pick'em at 2.5, but with the offensive firepower that Georgia Southern has with their QB that's been there, and Fresno State's always been a high-scoring offense, I thought that was easy money on that one.
So Southern's catching the 2.5?
Yep.
Oh my God. So are we going to be able to discuss? I know we got to move, but
go ahead.
No, go ahead and discuss. We got a little bit of time.
So Georgia Southern is plus 2.5 and it's on the road?
Yep. Or they're minus 2.5.
Oh, so it's got to be in Statesboro then.
No, it's at Fresno.
They're favorites at Fresno. First of all, that's a hell of a line.
Well, we also said that Georgia Southern will be damn good this year. Probably going to meet us in the.
I think Georgia Southern is the team in the East. I really believe that. Now I don't know what their pass defense is like, and Fresno's going to try to throw it around the yard. So I don't know, but I like him at 2.5. That's good. I think that's good value. Wake Forest. Yeah, I think do you know what the money is at Wake Forest? Just a money line. What are they like? 230 minus 230.
Yeah, it was something not high, but not super low either. It was middle of the road.
That's not bad. A Louisiana at 11.5 is
I feel like you're still
printing cash.
Yeah.
Because like you said, what did it start at? 13.5, 14?
13.5, 14, something like that. And then it's moved down in the last couple of days. So it's not like super they didn't change a whole lot.
Yeah.
But
I like it, Lane. I definitely like the over 51.5 in that Georgia Southern Fresno game. I think there's going to be some points scored. Ooh, man, I think I need to digest this. I like this. This is good.
Man, I'm never betting on the Cajuns in any way, shape, or form when it comes to the spread because I can't bet anyway because of my line of work.
Also, disclaimer.
But anyway, that was a disclaimer.
Not professionals. We're not professionals. This is just a suggestion. We got to say that.
That was a disclaimer. I cannot bet on these things. But
if I don't say that, Jerry will fuss at me. But it's true. Like, it's a disclaimer. We're just having a little fun, just giving our opinions. I think Louisiana minus 11.5 is about as easy of a bet as you're going to make this week.
what do you think about the over under on the Cajuns game? Do you think that's a little high, a little low?
No, I
think that's pretty close. I don't think there's going to be a ton of points scored. I don't think.
Really?
No, I don't think. No, man. Somebody had said in a previous episode 31-10, and I initially scoffed at it, and then I thought about it, and I thought, that makes a lot of sense. 31-10.
I was thinking 31-23 because at some point we're going to go way ahead, and then they'll have to bring in their.
As far as I'm concerned, there's no way that offense scores 23 points on defense.
Well, they scored 22 last year, so that's not. Yeah,
that wasn't the same. That's not the same team. But no, man, I think it's an interesting number. I think it's about right. I think it'll probably be 41, 43, somewhere in there. I think the under's the play.
Lane, what's that little QR shells at the bottom? What's that for?
Well, I don't know if you changed it, but I did link it to our YouTube page in the original graphic, which the original graphic, mind you, it sucked.
I didn't change it, but yes, your graphic sucked, and I had to change the other part of it.
But no, the QR code links to our YouTube page. Go like and subscribe it. We're about to do some fun stuff on there. So yeah, that's the first week of Lane's Lines, and I'm looking forward to seeing it play out.
Yeah, y'all put y'all's predictions in the comments so we can have something to argue about next week.
Definitely, and we're gonna keep track of your predictions here, buddy, because I want to see how good you are at this. I mean, when we talked about it, I thought you were like a guru, and you're like, yeah, I'll look at that bet on the game sometimes. I'm like, what are you talking about, bro? You're supposed to be like a guru here, so we'll put you to the test. How's that sound, Lane?
Sounds good.
All right. Well, let's get to the Grammys portion of tonight's show, and of course, we want to lead that off by talking about Taco Sisters because they are part of Eat Lafayette's, I guess, our segment that we're going to do every week. And we're going to release something every time. I think when we have a home game or even when we don't have home games, we'll go around Acadiana. We'll share videos of local places to eat around Lafayette. And especially during home games, we would like for visiting fans to check it out because that's important for them to know some places to hit up in Lafayette that may be off the beaten path. So look forward to doing that. Jerry, thank you for helping me out with that. And you'll see that tomorrow morning. We'll release that video. But before we do any of that, we have to ask the question of the night, which is, it's a fill in the blank. All right, you guys ready for this? You know you're a true Cajun if blank. You know you are a true Cajun if blank. I'll go first with an example that I know all too well. You know you're a true Cajun if you get down from the car. You don't get out of the car, you get down. Cole, I know you're going to have a real good one. Everybody give one, and then we'll circle back around. So go ahead, Cole.
Well, I'm going to give 2 real quick, though. You know you're a true Cajun if you have an OG Magnolite pot from your Momo and Pawpaw, and you have an OG old Hitachi rice cooker. You know the yellow ones that when you press it, it goes ding.
Dude,
that's how you know you're a true Cajun. I don't want to hear shit.
My mama just got rid of hers, and it didn't even have the top handle on it anymore. We had to use a fork to open that jaws.
That's how I know.
All right, Jack, no, what you got?
I actually had a couple too. I don't know can I do my 2 cents?
Go ahead and do your 2.
All right,
go ahead.
To your point, you're not Cajun unless you come see.
Oh,
you don't come over here, you come see. Dude, I said that when I moved to Colorado. I said that, and they looked at me like I was insane. Like, what are you talking about? So that's one. You know you're Cajun if you have one of those passed down black pots, and if somebody puts some soap in that, we're going to war.
Ball.
You put some soap in my black pot, we're going to war.
And you know what's funny is my mom is Cajun as Cajun can be. That woman she is OCD when it comes to cleaning. She not only puts soap, she will put Clorox in there to she ain't leaving there can be no germs in there, bro. And it stays black. I don't know how she does it. We're going to have to get her on the show. I don't know. But it tastes good.
Y'all eating Clorox.
What, she got some shoe polish?
Phil Martin talking about your true Cajun if you rode your horse to Cowboys and you lasso somebody. I'll never forget that picture. That was pretty good, DB, saying when somebody has to play cards and you know they mean Boo-Ray or
Yeah,
Rooks.
right.
Rooks was another game my parents played back in the day. Not too many people played that. Jerry, I know you're not a true, well, I guess you are half Cajun, so you're not a true Cajun, but you're half Cajun. We'll allow it. Tell us, fill in the blank. You know you're a true Cajun if what?
Every time you hurt yourself, you go, ay, 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 because I catch myself doing that a lot. Or you give a sigh, like you give a sigh. My grandma, every time something bad would happen, oh, mon Dieu, mon Dieu. Give a French term every time. And then I'll give one more. I don't know how your grandparents or families do it or older families do it, but like, did they call soft drinks pop or Coke? Which one was it?
Well,
mine always called it pop.
Well, we always had Coke, but I had some family out in Bayou Courtortu, and they said, that's a pop. Go get you a pop.
Go get you a pop. Yep. I had family that everything's a pop. I was like, what? When I was little, I was like, what is pop? Oh, that's your Coke.
I know Cole knows about Bayou Courtortu, huh? He's in the backstage right now, but I know he knows all about that.
Is it more Cajun to just call everything a Coke, or is it pop? You know, when you get if you go to a restaurant with your grandparents, they'd order a Coke, and when the Sprite would get there, or when the Coke would get there, they'd say, "I ordered a Sprite." Well, no, you ordered a Coke.
No, it was I want a Coke. What kind? Oh, I'll take a Pepsi.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
Yeah. T-Boy chiming in, Matt, as if. I mean, that's a pretty good Matt, as if.
Oh,
you know, something else my relatives would say would be, no, man, hey. Every time something bad. No, man, hey. Was another thing.
We need to get James in here. James knows all the good customers.
We do need to get James in here one day. There was another one that I had written down, but now I can't find it. Here it is. You know who Dick Farrow is. You know you Cajun if you know who Dick Farrow and Mike Barra. If you know those names, bruh, you're probably a Cajun. Lane, you have anything? I know you're not a Cajun, but we'll give you a chance.
You know you're a Cajun when you stock up for a hurricane party.
No,
well, this is
being
true.
Smart.
That's just being smart. Stock up with what? Alcohol?
Yeah, it depends on what you got.
When you spell probably. Yeah, probably. Or 70, like Big Keb. 70. That's what I remember from Rooks. You had to bet and people would say 70.
So I played Rook with my grandma on that side of the family like all the time growing up.
Yeah, boy. You know what else my mama used to do is, and it got me in trouble one time because when we were in 4th grade, we had to do we were learning about doing like plans for a house. Like you fill in the bed. I mean, it wasn't like we're not trying to do something, very detailed. It was just like, this is your house and these are the rooms. And my mom would call it, you know how you have a laundry room? Well, she called it the utility room, but she wouldn't call it that. She called it the utitty room. And so I wrote UTITTY room on the thing, and I got in trouble because I wrote titty on my paper because my mama called it the utitty room. How else would you spell it? She's probably listening. She's going to say, I can't believe you said that. By the way, my mom texted me in the middle of our interview with Tommy McClelland tonight that we were playing. She goes, you know, your daddy worked with his daddy in Crowley at the ASCS office.
Of course.
I said, what?
Of course.
So my dad and Tommy Mac's dad were friends back in the day.
Well, partners.
You know you're Cajun if you know.
You know you're Cajun. If you can go nowhere without knowing somebody. We met people at Disney World. Holy cow.
You know you're Cajun if everything you say the word yeah after everything. Man, yeah. It's hot, yeah. Man, it's cold, yeah.
Man, I'm hungry, me.
Yeah,
Nick, what if you pock eggs? That's a Cajun thing.
Bruh.
If you pock eggs, you are Cajun as hell.
But that's a German thing I found out.
Yeah, if you look up the history, it actually is. And is it German or Anglo-Saxon?
I don't know, but whatever it is, if you pock eggs on Easter.
It's pagan, you Catholic people out there. You pocking eggs like a pagan.
Be a lot. If it's German, it'd be a lot of Zonebreckers and Hornsby's. Out in Crawley, hitting up the pocking eggs.
Boys, it has been a lot of fun. I just want to say thanks to all our sponsors. Now that we got so many, I don't think I can. I can read them all.
You made me do
now.
it. Rifle through them. Let's go.
Let me go ahead and pull it up.
I'll carry while you pull it up.
Give me a second. I got two things playing right now. I got Cole's music playing. And I got other stuff playing.
I'm going to just say, everybody, go subscribe, go like. It helps us out a whole lot. We've grown tremendously, but it still helps us to keep getting the brand out there, keep supporting guys like Kaden and Key and the whole Ragin Cajun football team. That's what we're here to do, continue to grow the base. But just thank you guys so much for supporting. And, yeah, like I said, just that subscribe button and then that like button just gets us out there, and it helps a lot.
And we're talking about Kaden Jensen, not Kaden on Twitter. We don't like him. He's not the guy we invite on. Gulf Coast Bank, Lafayette Roofing, The Yard Goat, Yes Please, Old Time Grocery, Stride Safety Solutions, Eat Lafayette, brought to you by Lafayette Travel, Dr. Brett Venable, and Recovery Chiromed, Planet Radio 106.7, and our title sponsor, is that what we're calling them? Presenting sponsor. Presenting the best stop.
And also this, our boy Ryan Benoit at Voodoo Art. Guy does tremendous work. He's been doing our graphics.
This is amazing.
If you need anything graphic design, this guy, he's the next level.
And also our Patreon members as well.
Yeah, yes, I need to go through all those Patreon subscribers. We're going to do that next week. I'll give everyone an individual shout out on our next show, but subscribe to our Patreon, get early access to things like the interview today. You get to skip 40 minutes of this thing and then join us after, like RC did.
That's right. And don't forget, if you want to talk some Cajun sports, head over to Cajun Threads. Huge fan forum of ours that we pride ourselves on talking Cajun sports and pretty much any other lanyap stuff, right?
Whatever you want to talk about, there's a place for it on Cajun Threads. For Josh, for Jerry, for Lane, for Natty Daddy, I'm Nicholas. Thank y'all for joining us tonight. I appreciate you hanging in there for the full 2 hours and 26 minutes. And until next time, we'll see ya on Saturday at the tailgate. And as always, baby, go Cajuns.